Sorry for the inconvenience caused for the delayed start because there was a update from Microsoft Teams, and all of a sudden until we complete it, we can't start working again. So that's why it got delayed. But anyway, don't worry, we'll be covering up all these things within the scheduled time. And I believe everyone is settled down and good to go. My audio is reaching, screen is visible. Can you please confirm?
Yes.
All right. So as we discussed, in day three, we are going to start working with the real-time SAP records, a huge data system, then how to deal with the same, how to create some different reports, all these things we planned, and we are going to start working with it. So go to our sample case studies folder. There is a file called data analysis. Please open that. So file name is data analysis. Sheet name is summary table. Kindly confirm if the same is opened in front of your screen. Y for yes quickly in the chat box. Yes, Amit and Snehal, could you please confirm?
Yes,
Yes,
it's
it's
done.
visible.
All right. So now let me take you through the data first. Let me give the background story of this so that everybody can connect with it. And then we'll see what is our aim, how to work, and we'll work together. So suppose take an example, morning 9 o'clock, I drop into office. And immediately my boss called me, Prabhas, please come to my cabin. I need to discuss something with you. I went. Then immediately he started saying, Prabhas, I was just going through the monthly reports and I find that just as if some ready-made numbers we have downloaded from our SAP or ERP system and we are presenting the same to the management. So the quality of information is missing. This is what he started saying. And he also added saying something like, in fact, in the last month meeting I was there and none of the audience were quite happy watching our reports. He also added that. So he said, let's do something different this time. Let's do one thing. Get me last 3 years revenue data from our SAP so that we'll start working with that and we'll make something different. So I gave a respective T code in my system, SAP login. I did it and I gave a respective T code and I download a data set. Near about 1 lakh records, it comes in this format, like name of the customer is there. These are the different product types and these are the product descriptions. And these are the salesmen which you have engaged to generate the revenue on behalf of the organization. And these are the different regions we have got exported our products. Order date is nothing but billing date or invoice date you can treat. Sales in terms of US dollar or INR, anything you like, you can make it. Year of incurrence of sale, month, quarter, and intermediate channel partner, if any, that list is also available. So it's a complete huge data list we have. And like this, 1 lakh records. Now, just to one line, if I want to conclude this data, this is nothing but a data set we have taken one automobile industry naming called Tata Motors. So Tata Motors are manufacturing this kind of car and hatchbacks, sedans, and utility vehicles, SUVs, all these things they produce it. So basically, we have taken the data of Tata Motors. You can think in this way, and we are the part of Tata Motors. Think in this way, otherwise. Now, when I presented this data to my boss, he's not quite happy watching the same. What he's saying? He's saying, Prabhas, this data is of no use for me. Do one thing, just keep data with you and make me a simple report out of this. What kind of report? Last 3 years, whatever the revenue we have made by selling the products, I just want a simple report. So we have 1 lakh records and we need to present the data in a crispy format, summary format, or a tabular format. So we know one thing. Whenever you have the huge data, to make a summary, we go for pivot table or pivot table, no doubt. So if you're already working, well and good, or if you're going to work with first time the pivot table, that's also fine, no issues. But now the first question over here arises people, whether our data is ready for pivot. We never focus on that. And that's why we face a lot of challenges. But going forward, we are not going to commit that mistake. So the first thing first, whenever you happen to work with pivot table, there are three rules you need to satisfy. Rule number one, the data must contain a field header. Without field header, pivot is not possible. And none of the column header name should be duplicate. If you want to retain customer in two columns, you can, but the name should be customer one, customer two. There should be a unique name to the column headers. Now, rule number two, you have to ensure that the amount of data, whatever you have received, downloaded or fetched, there should not be a blank cell in place. But how to confirm there is no blank cells over here? If you remember, in our day two, we discussed a case study naming called Data Clean 1. So let's start working together. Select your data, keeping the cursor anywhere, Control A, and then go for Control G. So when you go for Control G, G for gamma, you will be getting a go to dialog box on the screen. And there is a tab called Special. And this special tab, we need to click it. Then it takes me to the go to special box in the place where I could see a blanks option is available. Now this blanks option I need to select and I need to click OK. So once I click OK, I'll be getting a message. No cells were found. Kindly confirm. Did you receive the same?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's a confirmation for us that in our data, there is no blanks at all. Now, what if there were blanks? If blanks were there, those cells would have been selected and we could have replaced with 0 hyphen nil not available, just typing the data and hitting Control Enter. And those things we have already learned in our day two data clean 1. Now, rule number 3. Ensure that in any of the column, data should not be merged. So there should not be any merged data in any of the column because we have a very bad practice. What we do, we just select multiple cells, we merge them, we define a column header to that. So that's meant for display, not for the calculations. All right. So in this case over here, I would suggest you make a thumb rule. Whenever you want to go for any kind of formula, function-based calculations, pivot table, fit, anything you do, avoid using the merged data. Okay. Now, having said this over here, our data is ready for next level, no doubt. Now, what's next? If you remember in day two, I told you whenever you download the data from SAP or ERP, there are two areas you will always find the trouble. One, number column will not be in number format. Date column will not be in date format. And unless and until you do the right treatment with the same or ensure that the data is properly formatted, your data is of no use. So now the same thing we are going to do. In our data set, you could see there is a order date column over here, right? Now this order date column, keep your cursor in the first date value and select the rest. Now the question is how to confirm whether my date is in proper date format. I told you a keyboard shortcut in day one and day two as well. Any format you want to convert into date format. What it was, anybody?
Control
Control
Shift
Shift
Hash.
3.
Control Shift 3 or Control Shift has very good. So go for Control Shift and 3 with immediate note. Can you see the respective changes are happening in the screen? So it's a simple message. Since these changes are happening, our date is there in proper date format. All right. Now coming to next, our billing column, the invoice value, sales USD. Keep your cursor in the first billing amount and select the rest. So now the question is over here, how to confirm that our numbers in the billing column or invoice value column or sales USD column is there in proper number format. So I told you one more keyboard shortcut to convert any format to number. What it was, anybody?
Control Shift that approximate symbol.
That
It
is
was
what
first.
Control Shift 1. Control
Yeah.
Shift 1. So go for Control Shift 1. Can you see said changes are happening? Like a decimal comes uniformly post decimal, two characters are coming up before decimal. There is a comma or thousand separator also it comes up. So when all these changes are happening, now it is again a confirmation for us that our numbers are there in proper number format. Now, what if these changes were not happening? Then we should have gone for data cleansing by selecting the column, going to data, text to column, next, general to date, and then finish. So those things we have already discussed in our day two data clean tool, right? So now our numbers are also in number format we confirmed, but there is no point having post decimal 00 characters and unnecessarily increasing the character length. So to remove the same, we discussed one keyboard shortcut, Alt H9 and Alt H9. You can go and remove, or you can go to Home tab and you can go for decrease decimal. So whichever it is comfortable for you, go for it, but ensure your data doesn't have any post decimal characters. All right. So how to confirm these two important columns that it is complied with the right format? We got the basic understanding. Hope up till this all are clear. Any doubt, any queries? All good. Shall we go for next?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine. Now, once we have done with this, now please stay focused on my data. There is some problem I would like to bring you to your notice. Just see, we have an order date, we have got year, we have got month. Can you see what is the problem? If you look at our order date, it is showing of January month, but our month is showing December, which is technically not correct. Our data is showing of 2019, but year is showing 2014. This is also not correct. So these two columns again we need to rectify. How? Just see. Keep your cursor in the first year value. I told you in day one that in our Excel we have got a ready-made year formula and that we can take it to extract a year from a date. Now, when I go and take the order date as a reference, this gives me my date value or the year. Now, when I go and apply the same for the others, now this is ready. So this is how people you can notice over here. Just give me a second. Something isn't happening. So now, if you look at our year column is now fetching the proper value. Kindly confirm year column is rectified.
Prabhas, after selecting the cell F5, what we need to do?
F5 for what purpose?
No. I'm putting down the formula is equal to year, and then we have
Uh,
selected that F5 row. After
right.
that, enter.
Enter, simple enter. Okay. Now you need to go for double click on that fill handle, the drag button to apply for the all the rest of the cells towards down. Right. So your column is rectified for everyone. Now coming back to the month column. So I told you a formula to extract a month from a date. What is that? Naming called text. So when you go for text formula, this demands me the value. So value is nothing but order date. We can take it, comma. This demands me format text. So what is the meaning by format text? Like, as we know, we have a date format DDMMYY or MMDDYY. So we need to go for our month. So we should define within two double inverted quotes M4 times. Okay. Now the moment you go for this, the formula is ready. Only for a cell, we need to apply for rest. So this is how the month column also we rectify. Can you please confirm all are clear with our year and month column value rectifications?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Now, once it is ready over there, then our data is good for next level. So now what you can do, once you made all these changes, people, keep your cursor anywhere in the data and go for Control A and convert your data into table. So I told you in day 2 and day 1 as well, how to convert your data into table.
Control T.
Control T. So go for Control T and you will be finding a dialog box comes up, click OK. So immediately your data will be converted to a tabular format. All right. So this is what people, first 5 minutes is very, very important to understand your data and ensure the necessary checks the columns wherever it is necessary. And then finally convert your data into table and then we can go for pivot table. So now, once we have converted our data into pivot table, converted data into table, keep your cursor anywhere in the data set. You will be finding in the insert tab, there is a very first option called pivot table. But in this pivot table, technically, there are two sections. I'll tell you. So in this, if you go for pivot table people, we have got two sections. What are they? One is called your icon section. This first half is called icon section. Then one more is there called navigation section. So do not go for the navigation section to create a pivot. Always go for the icon. Why we need to no need to go and navigate? The reason is if you do so, some features of pivot will be missing. That's why I always recommend go for immediate the icon. All right. So now going to insert over here, going to pivot, click the icon. Now, once you click the icon, it will take you to a dialog box where you could see the entire data set is forming part of our table range or array. And default option is saying where you want your pivot table report to be placed. It's always a new worksheet. It's better so that we can make our presentation neat and clean. Now, having said this, the moment you click OK, then our data is ready. Okay. Now, a new Excel sheet is going to be generated over here, people. And considering that, towards your left side, if you look at, there is a gray color box. This is the place where your pivot table is going to get designed. And inside that, there is a small gray color box where the name is there, pivot table 1. It's a message that whenever you prepare a pivot, it has got its own unique name. Now, having said this, over here, towards my right side, if you look at, there is a column over here, the entire field headers or column headers are listed in the box. This is called pivot table field list box. Now towards the right side, if you see small boxes kind of structures are there. These are called pivot table field area. Now we have only one job left. What we need to do? We need to take the right fields, whatever we are looking for our reports, and we need to simply drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop, and drag and drop. This is the only action we need to initiate. Now, we have understood what we need to do, but the problem is if you look at my layout and your layout, it is not matching. But if you compare which layout is giving enough space to work with, of course, it's mine because you could see there is so much of space in the bottom side. In fact, another 6 to 7 column headers also I can accommodate in this window space. So let's see how to bring this kind of structure. It's just one-time job. See, there is a settings button over here in the pivot table field list box. And there you go for the second option, field section and area section side by side. So when you go and select this, automatically you will be getting this kind of layout on your screen. Kindly confirm all of you got this layout.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
Prabhas, I have got one more screen. It says to build a pivot chart, choose. Like, have I selected something different? I'll
you can share your
just
screen, then only I can come to know what you have done.
just hold on. I'm just sharing it in chat
Yeah,
box. This snap of it.
chat box. Okay. Okay. This window, it has come for pivot chart. You should not have selected this. Okay, you can do one thing. delete that sheet completely and go to our data set, go to insert pivot table.
Just a minute. Delete this. Okay. I'll put the pivot table again, you're saying?
Yeah, go to the data, the source data, and go
Okay.
to insert.
Insert
First
and then?
option, first option pivot table. Click on that
Yeah.
icon. Click on that icon.
Yes, selected.
Now click OK.
Okay, now I got it correct.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. So here, now the moment we have got it, people. Now, as I told you, we can go for drag and drop. Fine, we can drag, not a problem. But the problem is where to drop because we got four different choices. So for this, you have to also follow a rule. What is the rule says? See, there is a sigma value one field is there. So it's a simple message that whenever, whichever the column you are dealing with numbers or numerical value, that you should bring it in the value field area. Why? Is it really necessary? Yes. Because if you bring the numbers into the value field area, you can play around with the functions or formulas like sum, count, average, product, minimum, maximum, all these things you can do over here. So let's take a call on that report, what my boss was looking at. Last 3 years revenue data based on the products. So 3 years revenue data in the sense billing column in the sense sales USD. Is it containing numbers? Yes. So that you select and hold and drag it over here. Do not go for this checkbox immediately because every time it will not go to the desired field location. So it's always better have a control with your field population by simply dragging and dropping into the field area. Now, last 3 years revenue data, we have a column called year. Take that into the columns area. So you'll be getting the entire 3 years data in three different columns. Now you can ask me a question, Prabhas, is it really necessary I should go for all the time years to into columns? Can't I take it in rows? Yes, you can take. There is no hard and fast rule. So you'll be getting the 3 years data in three different rows. So since we are looking for something else along with the year data, that's why we have opted columns. Now, this 3 years data based on what? Based on the product. So we have a product description field that you bring it to the row area and you see a beautiful report is turning up and having a total of 3199253. 3199253. Okay, kindly confirm all of you have got the same total and we got our first pivot ready.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Any difficulties? Anybody? Fine. Now, once we have done with this over here, though we have got our pivot ready, people, but this is not ready for dispatch. We cannot send our data having in this format. So what we need to do, why we can't send it? If you remember, I told you since day one, data anybody can prepare, but your presentation always makes you different. So always care for your presentation part as well. So here, if you look at, we have our data ready, but the look and feel of pivot is not so great. So how to change that? See, if you keep your cursor anywhere in the pivot table data, you see in the design tab, there is an option over here, multiple styles, pivot table styles are there. Okay, so go for the more button. It opens in three broad categories, light, medium, and dark. Now, whichever you like it from this, you can take it. And now when you go and click on it, now it is somewhat giving you colorful presentations compared to the previous one, somewhat better. So this is how minimum formatting for pivot you must do. This is the first thing. Now, if you look at over here, we have multiple columns. I told you when you have in your table multiple columns, the latest style, what it says, the first column, what should be the alignment? If you remember, yes, people, I told you nothing new. The alignment for the first column should be left
Left.
and rest of the columns alignment should be
Center.
center. And for that, the keyboard shortcut, I told you, Alt H A C, right? Now, once we have done with this over here, next, as I told you over here, whenever you go for pivot table people, you can see this bold, Genix Nano, Hexa, Indica, what are they? These all are our products. But if you look at our pivot table header, what it shows, row label. It is not showing product description. Similarly, 2019, 2020, and 2021, these are our years, but it is showing column label. So this is again one more problem of our pivot. It always takes its standard name like row label and column label. But if I'm presenting my data to a layman, how he will understand? He may think about it like it might be one of the accessories or it may be some inventory items, could be the case. So this is the reason why exact field name population is also very, very essential in pivot. But how to do that? Our experts, they will suggest you, Prabhas, don't worry, go and edit the field manually. Don't do that ever. But today you can find the impact, but tomorrow when you write the macro program to automate your entire pivot task, then the macro will stop because you have changed the field names manually. So in that case, how to change it then? How to update it? I'll tell you a very beautiful option. Keep your cursor anywhere your table data and go to the same design button. In this design button, if you look at in our left side, the third option deals with report layout. And in this report layout, you have an option called show in tabular form. Go for it. And can you see respective changes are happening? Are you getting the exact field name?
Yes.
So this is how you should do the minimum formatting people over there as well. Now, once we have done with this over here, if you remember, since day one, I keep telling you, whenever you present your data as it is, nobody likes it. Nowadays, the audience is having a different level of expectation. So what they expect that when you present your data to the people, ensure that it is telling a beautiful story to the people. So now the question is how to present our data in a beautiful storytelling format. So what we can do, keep your cursor in the grand total column anywhere, in any cell. Right click on that. You have an option called sort. And when you go for sort option, there's an option called largest to smallest. And when you go for largest to smallest over here, you can see a beautiful story turns out that out of these 3 years from Indica, we got the maximum revenue and from Jest, we got the least revenue. Whomever I'm presenting, they can make out that. What say? So I no need to be there personally to explain all these things. This is self-implied or self-explanatory. So this is how people we have understood how to create our pivot table, satisfying all the rules, doing the necessary formatting, finally presenting the data in a beautiful storytelling format. Any questions if you have, do let me know. So kindly confirm if it is ready.
Yes, ready.
Okay. Ravindra, Snehal, Amit, status please.
Yeah, it's ready.
Ready.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ready.
Thanks. Now, once we have got these things ready, people, now go to the sheet tab where sheet one is written. Kindly go there. And there you do the changes. The way I'm writing the name, please write it as it is. Pivot, bracket open, one, bracket close. No space. Just write continuously, pivot one. Okay. Now, once our pivot one is ready over here, please watch my screen for a minute. Take your mouse pointer to pivot 1. Don't click over here. Just take your mouse pointer to pivot 1. Holding the control button, when you drag it, can you see a plus symbol turns up in my mouse pointer? And when you release your mouse pointer and control button, this is going to create a clone of our pivot 1, naming called pivot 2. So please create pivot 2 over there. Go to pivot 1, holding the control button, drag it, pivot 2 will be ready automatically.
Done.
Alright.
Right. Now, once it is ready over here, let's discuss what else we can do. Suppose say this is what I have presented to my boss last 3 years data and the products in the rows. My boss is quite happy watching the same. Now immediately he asked me one more thing. Prabhas, you have given me last 3 years data. I just want to do some deep dive analysis or I want to do some macro level of analysis on the same. So deep dive analysis, macro level of analysis, what does it mean? When we have got year-wise data, if you want to go in depth, then month-wise analysis also we can make. So that is what my boss is expecting. Let's see whether we have the field called month. Yes. So take this month field over there in the row area and you see the entire story changes, right?
Yes.
Now, remember one thing, whenever you prepare a pivot table, each and every pivot, they have their own unique story. So you need to understand first before dispatching the same to the audience that what kind of story this pivot is going to give it to the people. So let's just go and check it out. Like we have got 3 years revenue data. My boss was asking, we have given. Fine. Now then he was asking month-wise data. Did I give it? Yes, very well. But as an audience, if I see the larger picture, my pivot is still emphasizing upon the product description. Though month is there, but it has become secondary. So this is the reason why, though I have got my all the information people, but this is not meeting the expectations from the other side. So now the question is how to make month column primary. Simple. No need to worry about. Just go to the row area. You could see product description is the first field that you bring it below to the month and see the beauty, the entire story changes with simple interchange of the field. And now 3 years revenue data, no doubt, along with the month details, right? Check it out.
Yes.
Hello, Prabhas.
Yeah,
Actually, my field area is not visible now.
this pivot table field list is not visual, you mean to
Ye-
say?
Yes.
Okay, no issues. You keep your cursor in pivot, then only it will be visible.
No, it's not.
Okay, so keep your cursor in the pivot, go for right click. Do you see an option called show field list in the bottom?
It's not able to. I'm not able to click on that.
Okay, you can share your screen. Let me have a look. One minute, show the screen. Go to Excel, go to Excel. Yeah. Because you have selected both the sheets, your pivot one, pivot two, both is selected. Right click on that. Yeah, right click on that and ungroup sheets. Go for ungroup sheets.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now it will show. Just see.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
stopping it.
No problem. All right. So
Thank
I'm
you.
taking the control back on the screen. And here, as I understand, everyone is clear with whatever the setups we have made so far.
Yes.
Right. So simple interchanging the field, the whole story changes. We got the basic understanding. So now, if you look at our pivot table, there is a lot of places where this blank cells are generated now. Technically, in our data, there was no blank cells, but our pivot is creating this kind of blanks. What does it mean? It's a simple message. During that year, for that particular month, over there, we have never raised any single invoice according to that. So this is what we have understood since we are dealing with the data. Shukriya, keep your mic on mute. If you have any questions, you can ask me. It is creating a lot of noise. Thank you. So here, now, as we discussed, this blank rows is automatically generated because there is no such kind of combinations of data. We are clear with that, no doubt. But when I'm sending to multiple people, they ask the same questions and I need to keep explaining the same. And while I do explain, what happens? My premium time is being going to a waste over here. So how to save that? How to stop people asking unwanted questions? So here, one thing you have understood that whenever we have got this kind of blanks and pivot people, before dispatching the same, it's our duty to replace all these blanks with some kind of predefined text. Zero, hyphen, nil, not available, not applicable, then only you can send it across to the next level. But how to do that? Here, find and replace will not work. So you got to go for keeping the cursor anywhere in pivot. I'll tell you, right click on that. From the bottom second option, pivot table options, just click it. And once you click the same, it will take you to a dialog box where you could notice we have got a beautiful option naming called for empty cell show. One box is there. So in that box, you can type anything you want to replace with. But I would suggest go for zero since we are dealing with numbers. And once you type zero, go for clicking the OK button. And trust me, the entire pivot table, wherever the blank cells are there, is going to be filled with the text zero. So this is how you should handle the blanks in pivot. Hope it is working. Fine. Now, once we have done with this over here, what is the next thing now my boss is expecting? I'll tell you. He started working with our data. Okay. And one by one data, when he's looking at and when he reached to the Tiago, he is unable to make out which month that product is pertaining to. Again, he has to look back in the month in the first row, then only he realizes that this is of January month. And this is the way my boss is not comfortable reading the data. So he's saying that, Prabhas, why don't you just fill the entire column with the month name? So whichever the row item I am working with, I could make out which product, which month it is pertaining to. So basically in one line, if you want to say the month column has to be filled up with the month names wherever the blank cells are there. But how to do that? If you remember in day two, we have discussed something called data fill, a case study. That was a quite long process, selecting the data, going to control G, special, blanks, equal to, previous cell, control enter, all these setups we had to do. But here we are in pivot and those things are not going to work. And even it is very easy for pivot to deal with. How? I'll tell you. Keep your cursor anywhere in pivot table, going to design. You have an option over here, naming called report layout. We discussed already 5 minutes back. In this report layout, you will be finding an option called repeat all item labels. So once you go for it, with immediate effect, the entire month column will be filled up with the month name, right? So this is how different setups we have in the pivot itself, people. You don't need to worry about. One thing is we have to take the right call on that and present it effectively. So this is the story of our pivot table number 2. Any doubt, any queries in pivot 2? Anybody?
No.
Right. Now let's do one thing. Select our pivot 2 sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. We got another pivot table naming called pivot 3. So now let's see what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Okay. So here, once we have done with this, my boss is saying, Prabhas, this report pattern is really very good. like 3 years data in 3 columns and your month in another column. So I like it. But I'm done with product. So product wise analysis, boss is done with that. He's saying, let the report pattern be same. Please bring me the customer. So first thing first, what my boss is not interested in watching is product description. So product description is unwanted. That you should first remove by simply just uncheck this checkbox. Now what he's expecting? Customer. So please bring customer into the row area. Right? Now, what we can do over here, just say, the moment we have got this pivot ready, people, my boss started analyzing the data. Now, who is the first customer? Al Hamid Automobiles. Now, when he's looking at 2019 data, he starts on January, no business. Feb, some business is there, good sign. March, there is no name at all of Al Hamid Automobiles. April, name is there, but there's no value. Again, May, no business. And June, some business is there, no. Then July, some business is there. So this is how my boss wants to know the entire history of one particular customer for the whole year. He has to scroll down 12 times, and which is really a tedious process, and he's not comfortable doing the job. Nobody will be comfortable. So what he's expecting now, what he's saying, try to understand. He's saying, Prabhas, you have given me the data, no doubt, but it is not giving a comfort zone to work with. I need to scroll a lot. I need to navigate a lot. So why don't you do something? Whenever I open the file, it should give me the entire picture, entire history in one window so that I can have the understanding and I don't need to struggle for this. Well, if that is the case, then how to present it? Keep your cursor anywhere in the pivot data. Now see, in our row area, month is there. Now bring month to the column area. And once you bring month to the column area, you can find all the customer names appears in one column. But imagine how many columns we have landed up with. If you look at on my screen, you can come to know over there we have got near about 41 columns. Now think about it. This many huge columns of data, how to present it to the boss. Suppose say my boss has never seen this. He asked me, Prabhas, while coming back to my cabin, please get me a printout. So how will I take a printout? By taking over here in this kind of picture? Very difficult. I can take, but the problem would be the font size will be very, very small. It will be very, very minute level in normal eye. We can't see well. So being a friend of mine, can you suggest me something? Pravas, don't worry. Take the printout and take a magnifying glass and give it to your boss and say, sir, please help yourself. So can I say something like this? No way. So in this case, people, though the data is there, but it is of no use. So now the question is how to present it effectively. So what we can do, take a look. 1 minute first, watch my screen. What we have to do is, I'll tell you, we have got in B column 2019 one cell is there, correct? I'll go for right click on that. And there we have an option called expand and collapse. In this expand and collapse button, we have an option called collapse entire field. So when I go and click it, my entire 3 years data just going to appear in 3 columns and creating a plus symbol in each and every column header you see. This is called nothing but my radio button. So whenever you happen to present something, suppose my boss asks me, Prabhas, just show me 2021 data. I can simply click on that plus symbol and 2021 data alone is going to open. And now what is happening? I am not showing the unwanted data to the people. Unwanted questions are not going to come. And once my presentation is over, if I want to restore my data, I can simply go and click on that plus symbol and data is restored. So this is how you can make your presentation in a beautiful fashion and present it effectively. All right, just give it a try and check it's working.
Okay.
Any difficulties, anybody? Sure. Now, once we have done with this, just focus on my screen. Whatever we did over here, people, anybody can do. It's not a rocket science or something extraordinary we did it, right? A simple right click options are available. So now the time has come to discuss how to make our report different from others. So if you remember in day two, I told you some data visualization techniques like using data bars, spark lines, icon sets and all. So now we are going to do something like that. Just see. Next to grand total, I will create a cell naming called visual. And to give a feel as if this is the property of our pivot table, I need to maintain the similar formatting. So I'll go to grand total, I'll go to home, and there we have a format painter. I'll click that and I'll come back and click the visual cell. Simple. So we got our visual column ready. Right? Now, what we can do is just 1 minute watch my screen, observe what I'm doing. Next 1 minute, you'll be getting time to try it. Don't worry, first observe my screen. See, I will select my first customer, Al Hamid Automobiles, 3 years data. Okay. I'll go to insert. There we have seen the other day sparklines. There are three different types of sparklines are there. Line, column, we know loss. And we saw column sparkline the other day. Today we are going to use line sparkline. So when I go for line over here, this demands me, where is the data? Data is over here, already selected. Where is the location? Location is visual column first cell. Now, when I go for selecting the visual column first cell and click OK, you will be finding more or less a line graph kind of stuff will be generating. And along with that, a sparkline tab also will be activated. It may be name would be different, some cases options, design, or sparkline, depending upon the version of Microsoft Excel. And here we have an option called markers. This checkbox is not activated, so I need to activate it. Now this is ready. The pointers also will be added over here in each and every line. So this is ready with only one customer. Now same we can apply for others and see the beauty. When you are going to present it to the audience, they will love to see this and this. People don't have time to go through your boring numbers, billions, millions, lakhs and crores. It is very difficult to remember all these things also. But here, if you take the story, what kind of story you are giving? If I take Al Ahmed Automobiles over here, compared to last year, this year, if you see some kind of consistency is there. But Arya Motors, they are showing the consistent growth. It's a good sign from the company perspective. But Bavaria Motors, what happens compared to last year? Volume is diminished like anything. So it's a serious issue. We need to check it out. But if you look at our Gurudev Motors, Kunoj Motors, and Lexus Motors, they are showing a consistent growth compared to last year. So this is how people will love to make out your story from your data. And if necessary, you can take this to your PowerPoint and make a beautiful infographic presentation. All right. So give it a try and check it's working. So selecting the 3 years data, going to insert and line spark line. If it is not happening, need my support, do let me know. All right. How about others?
Done.
Done.
Great. Now, once we have done with this over here, people, next, we have understood that how to make our things better and giving an add-on to our data, right? Now, pivot tree is done. So do one thing, select your pivot tree sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. So one more pivot turns up, you can name it, see, it comes up pivot table number 4. Now, our visual column work is over. So you can select the entire column header and then control minus. Now, once you go for this over here, then keep your cursor in the pivot table, keep your cursor in the pivot table, and then remove the unwanted fields like customer, month, okay, and then bring product description to the row area. So whatever the first field we had, the same thing you please bring it on. Once it is ready, let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. Now see, we have our data, last 3 years revenue data in 3 different columns we have populated, right? Now, over here, looking at the same, boss is saying, Travas, this is what 3 years revenue data you have given me. But I just want to know, to generate this much of revenue, how much incentives we have given. So boss wants to analyze revenue versus incentive in the adjacent column, and we need to populate that. But how to do it? Just see. First of all, we need to check incentive. Is it there anywhere in our field list box?
No.
No. So our problem starts, we do not have the data. Perfect. But incentive, technically, whom we pay in the corporate while working, whom we pay the incentive?
Salesperson.
To the salespeople, salesmen, sales agents, whoever actually technically helps us in boosting up the sales or generating the sales, right? So now the question is over here. We do not have the data, but we know whom we pay. Now, suppose say take an example, in our Tata Motors, we have a global policy or a uniform policy stating that whoever our salesman, whatever the billing they make, they will be entitled for 2% incentive. Though they are working in the northern region, southern, eastern, western, or central region, wherever, they are entitled for 2% incentive. So now we do not have the data, but we know how to compute it. If that is the case, then how to bring a new column in pivot, naming it as incentive. So when we do not have the data, we do have a choice. We can create the data, but where do we need to create the data? In the source data sheet. So let's go to our summary table data sheet and check what is the last column we have? Channel partners. So go to the next column and there you go and type new column name incentive. The moment you hit enter, can you see similar formatting is being carried forward?
Yes.
How this is happening? Because we have converted our data into table. So now you got the reason why I asked you to go for converting the data into table.
Yes.
Right.
Prabhas, could you please repeat the last
Yeah.
comment? What was that?
Just incentive and hit enter. In this source data sheet, go to the last
Mhm.
column, then keep the cursor to the next to that and type incentive and hit enter.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Right. Now, coming back to the formula, what would be the formula? Watch my screen. As we discussed, this should be billing column multiply by 2%. So this takes its own format. We know the other day we have seen when you convert your data into table, it takes its own format. So don't worry about it. Just go for selecting the cells USD column, any cell, and multiply by 2%. The moment you hit enter, do you see this is applying for the whole column? I no need to copy paste and do those all these things. How it is happening? Because again, we have converted our data into table. That's why it is increasing our speed also. So the data is being populated. Where? In summary table, that is source data sheet. Now where we need to bring it? In the pivot table. So when you go to pivot table, do you see below to channel partners, you have that incentive field? No. So not to be panic, how to bring it? Simple. Going to pivot table, wherever you keep your cursor, just go for right click. You have an option called refresh. And now you can notice exactly below to channel partners, one incentive field also going to be populated. Now, incentive field, what type of data it is holding? It is containing the numbers. And we discussed already, if you have something numbers in place, what is the right field area? Is the value field area. So bring incentive to the value field area. And you got a new column ready, naming called total incentive. Along with that, you find year-wise incentive also, it is being populated over here. So that's the beauty. Even if you do not have the data people, you can always bring a new column, creating the source data, populating one more column, and just with simple right click refresh, you can add those column in the pivot. But all these things, how it is happening? Because we converted the data into table. That's why the range automatically get updated with a refresh. If you do not convert your data into table, you have to suffer. Like going to pivot table analyze or analyze every time you have to go for change data source and keep changing the source. That is really painful. So how to automate that? Those things, a simple option by converting the data into table we saw. So kindly confirm pivot 4 is working fine. Any doubt, any queries?
Mm,
All right. So can I take that? Everyone is clear with pivot 4? Ravindra, Amit.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, Supriya, following?
Yes, all good.
Okay, fine. Now, coming back to our pivot 4 sheet tab, people, holding the control button, drag it to the right. So one more pivot turns up, naming pivot table number 5. So let's go and discuss what else can do with regard to our pivot table. Okay. Now, since we have got our incentive work over, let's deactivate incentive out of this. Okay. Now, say what's the next ask or problem statement. Now, when I presented this incentive data to my boss, he's quite happy. And immediately he's saying, Prabhas, I am done with incentive. Now, what I want is, while making this much of billing during last 3 years, I just want to know how much discounts we have given to our customers. So now boss is expecting billing amount versus discount amount in the adjacent columns, and he wants to analyze the data. So let's go and discuss that. First of all, check, do we have a field called discount in this?
No.
Is it there?
No.
Not at all. So our problem starts, we do not have the data. All right. Now, take a call. Suppose, like incentive in our organizations, we have a global policy with regard to incentive, how we have 2%. Similarly, our discount also we have a policy that whoever our customer, though they purchase small quantity or bulk quantity, everyone is entitled for 5% discount. Suppose this is the global policy we have. So now again the situation, we do not have the data, but we know how to compute it. Now to bring the same, we have the choice. What we can do? Don't do that. Just let's take a call. Like incentive, what we did, we can create a new column called discount. We can populate the formula. We can bring the pivot table, right click refresh, and then discount again will be populating to the value field area. So the same procedure we can follow it over here. Is there anything wrong?
No.
But think about it. Whatever we are going to do for the entire process, how much time we are spending? Roughly around 2 to 5 minutes. And that
Yes.
is a waste of time. Yes, it's a waste of time. Besides that, the moment you go and create a new column in your source data and apply the formula for 1 lakh times or 1 lakh records, think about the file size. Definitely it is going to be heavy. So having said this, whatever we did people for incentive, maybe our experts, they will be suggesting us to do the job like that, but Microsoft Excel never recommends for it. So what Microsoft recommends, let's discuss. So without creating the source data, how to create a new column in the pivot itself and naming as discount. So let's see that. Keep your cursor anywhere in this data set. Go to your analyze or pivot table analyze or options tab, whatever it is there, depending upon the version. Do you see option called fields, items, and sets in the calculations group, right? Now within that, do you see an option called calculated field? And once you click this, it will take you to a dialog box where you could see the very first criteria is asking for name. So the newly added field going to be named as discount.
Prabhas, I'm not able to see that option
Okay,
in
what is
pivot
that
table
you
analyzer.
okay, what is that you are getting from the second last if you keep your cursor and pivot? Is it
Yeah,
showing
I have a
analyze?
pivot table analyzer. Yeah,
Huh. So within that pivot table analyze, do you see a group called calculation or you see a name called fields, items, and sets?
calculations I cannot see.
Do you see a pivot chart option is there? Towards your right side, see a pivot chart option is there.
Yeah,
Just
yes.
towards the left of pivot chart, what you see?
Field item and set.
That is what I'm saying. Fields, items, and sets. See,
Okay,
I'm highlighting. There you go inside calculate field,
okay,
right?
okay.
Now the
Yeah.
newly added field name should be discount. Then the next tab is about your formula. Whatever is formula there, just delete that because we are going to design our own formula. We are not going to take any help with the formula. Now, once we have done with this, the formula, what it's supposed to be, as we discussed, what should be the formula? 5% on the billing column. So billing column, if you look at, Here one sales USD, one field list is there. Yes. Double click on that. And that will be embedded in my formula box automatically. Now I need to focus, multiply. How many percentage? 5%. Simple. Now, once you go and click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding a new column is turning up over here, naming called total discount. Along with that, year-wise, how much discounts we have given. Did I receive the same?
यस।
Yes.
प्रभास, ये हम लोग जो अभी इंसेंटिव किया था उसके लिए भी कर सकते थे क्या? सेम थिंग।
एकदम एकदम सही.
ओके।
So this is what we should have done. So जैसे कि मैंने आपको कहा, there is no necessity that you should go for always creating the source data. We have a option called calculated field. So we can create as many as calculated field like this, and it is the beauty. It is not going to create any such kind of columns in the source data, and it is going to be retained as a property of your pivot table. That's the beauty. Hope it is clear. Any questions from anybody? Right now, can I take that everyone is clear with pivot 5? Any questions from anybody?
Yeah, it's clear.
Right now, you did not ask me any questions, but people may ask. Take a situation. Suppose we have given 5% to our customers discounts, and over here we are presenting the records. My boss immediately said me, Pravas, we are selling the premium products. Why you are giving discounts to them this much? Our profitability margin is going down because of this discount. So do one thing, reduce the discount percentage. Instead of 5%, give only 1%. So now the question is, already we have calculated 5%, but boss is expecting I should give only 1%. Say, take an example. Now, in that case, how to update my pivot table? Do I go for creating a new field of discount, or should I go for editing the existing discount field? What is the better option?
एडिटिंग द एग्जिस्टिंग।
Definitely. So how to edit one existing custom calculation or calculated field? Let's discuss. Same process. Keep your cursor anywhere in the data. Go to your analyze or pivot table, analyze or options, whatever the tab you have. Going to fields, items and sets, calculated field. And when you go for this, same dialog box will appear. Exactly, just see in the name box, you have a drop down. So when you go and click that drop down, it will show the list of fields which you have already created. So we had only one. So that's why we need to select discount. And there, whatever the changes you want to do, you can do it and click OK. OK. So now instead of 5%, what my boss is expecting? 1%. And the moment I click OK, this field will be updated to 1%. So this is how people we have understood whenever there is a need, how to edit the existing custom field or calculation and update your pivots. Any difficulties? Fine. So we all are clear with our pivot table number 5. Now let's do one thing. Select your pivot 5 sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. You got another pivot ready, naming pivot table number 6. right? Now our discount work is over. We can remove that checkbox and our data is being restored, whatever we had the first pivot table. Okay. Now let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. Stay focused, a beautiful concept I'm going to take you through now. Suppose this is the data we have, last 3 years revenue data with regard to multiple products, and this pattern is really good, and boss is quite happy watching the same. Now, immediately my boss is saying, Prabhas, your pattern, I like it, no issues, but you have given me only one pivot table. What I'm expecting is multiple pivot tables in this format, but that should be based on the salesman. So salesman wise pivot table, my boss is expecting. So if I have got 200 salesmen, my boss is expecting 200 pivot tables, something like this. So how to deal with? So take a look. First of all, as we have made the practice, we need to check, do we have a field related to the salesman, sales agent or salespersons? Yes, we do have one. Now this salesperson data over here, if I take it, don't do that, just watch my screen. I'm doing on behalf of all. If I take it to the row area, what happens? My pivot table patterns disturbs. Boss is not happy. If I take it to the columns, data is there, but pivot table salesman name is missing. So again, it's of no use. Now, if I take it to the filter area, now what happens? Now I am somewhat safe, and my pivot table about that, my pivot table filter, it shows us salesman. But again, working with only one pivot table. But what boss is expecting? Multiple pivot tables. How to generate that? So it will be a very difficult task. If I have got 4 to 5, I can do the copy paste in 5 different sheets. I have got 200 salesmen. We are working with a global report. Now 200 times just copy paste of the same pivot table and change the salesman name and renaming the sheets with the salesman name is quite a tedious process. So now we are going to do the same with no time. So now the question is, whenever there's a need, how to export your pivot data into multiple reports on a click of button. So what we can do, first thing first, start working with me. As boss was demanding, based on the salesman, we are expecting multiple reports, right? So bring salespersons to the filter area.
Done.
Then you can notice about the pivot table, one filter button is activated. So keep the cursor in that filter button. Don't click the filter button, just select that cell. Okay. Now go to our pivot table, analyze or options tab, depending upon the versions. The very first name is coming up on the left is pivot table name. And below to that, there's an options tab. Don't click that options. Next to options, there is a small navigation button would be there. Now you can click that button. And once you click, it opens with three broad categories. Options, show report filter pages, and generate get pivot data. Now, out of these three, you can go for show report filter pages. And then when you click it, it will take you to a dialog box. And in this dialog box, you have an option called OK. So once you click OK with immediate effect, can you see on your blink of your eyes, your pivot will start exporting the data into multiple reports and pivot pattern remains the same. And your filter is already selected with the salesman name and your fields, whatever it's created, the reports, whatever it is generated, all the sheets are also renamed with the salesman name. So this is what the beauty of pivot people, and we call it as a life savior option of our pivot. Trust me, I have seen people literally sitting and doing the copy paste work at the year end. So whenever you want customer wise report, vendor wise report, or confirmation balances of the customer or cost center wise report, anything you want, you can keep generating something like this. Make sense?
Yes.
So if you know the tool, you can make your life easy. So whatever we did in our pivot table number 6, I believe it's clear. Anybody is not getting or need my support, feel free to ask. So are you ready for next level?
Yes.
Right. Sure. Now, please select your pivot 6 sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. So we got another pivot ready, naming called pivot table number 7. All right. Now here, let's see what else we can do with regard to pivot. But before that, please remove this salesperson. That work is over. You can remove that field.
Prabhas, before that,
Uh-huh.
in the pivot 6, we got the
Hmm.
data for different sales person, and that was in different tabs. So instead of that, can we get in one tab, maybe in one table like that?
No, no, you can't get it. So you will be getting the multiple sheets only. The report can be generated in multiple sheets. If you want, you can generate multiple Excel files, individual salesman wise, individual files you can create. But for that, you have to use a macro program for it. Then only you can do that. Now take a look. Since you asked me, I'll take you through. Now suppose that this is my data. I'm opening a new file. Okay, I'm presenting it. Now I have gone over here. I'll go for pivot table analyze, and there I go for report filter pages. Okay. So you could see how many sheets I have generated over here. So many, right?
Yeah.
Now this is my source data. Okay. So this is my source data. Now whatever I have created or prepared over here, this should not be in the same workbook. It should be the individual workbook. So there is no such kind of ready-made Excel options to bring your data into multiple Excel files. So what we can do, we can write a macro program for that. Now suppose say I'm writing this over here, the file name I'm saving as demo. Okay. And this demo file, I'll name it as pivot table. Just I'm saving it, pivot table. Okay. Now, what I can do is I'll be going for a macro program. I'm just showing it to you. This macro program. Okay, going to the working files. And then Excel macros. Saves. Mhm. So, okay, I'll go for my macro styles over here. Macros. Whether it's in the other laptop, but yes, I'll just see something is here. Yeah. See, it's a set of codes of
Mhm.
macro code. Now I have created that. I have kept it in Notepad. I'll need to go to my same Excel file. I'll go to my developer, Visual Basic. Now this is what the file, okay, demo file I have created for this pivot table. I'll go for right click, insert over here, not modules. We go for modules. I will paste it. So now I have got my macro program readings. Now what I'm looking for is the entire sheets what I have on this particular workbook. I am expecting individual Excel files for the same. So I can go to my developer again, going to macros. I need to run that macro. And this you can see it starts blinking in the address box and to drop a message finally once it is exported. So drop the message. You can find all these details in this particular folder, date and timestamp, everything. So if you look at our data over here, if I go to my desktop and in that demo file, well, it is demo. Okay, well, let's save this. Yeah, in pivot table, you see that demo file was there and it has created one folder and all this data, whatever we had in the sheets, everything, it has been exported to individual files over there.
Yeah.
So this is what something which is impossible in Excel, you can make it possible through macro. So that's why you cannot get or expect everything from the front end features of our Excel. That's why Excel VB is also designed to make all your impossible things possible. So Excel, whatever you do, that is your level 1, and Excel VBA macro is your level 2.
Yeah, because this macro which you use, I mean
Mhm.
to convert one Excel into the multiple Excel tabs.
Yeah,
Normally we use that. So maybe is it possible to share that macro?
yeah, I can share it. It's not a problem.
Okay. And we can
Yeah.
use that, right?
Yes. The way I showed you, same way
Mm-hmm.
you have to use it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so now we'll be going to our next pivot table number 7. So what else we can do with regard to pivot table? We are going to look into that. So now, sometimes what it happens, friends, the moment we work with our pivot table data, we need to work with our date related fields in pivot, like purchase order date, work order date, invoice date, date of joining of the employee. So when you have something like this, how to present your data in a beautiful fashion, we are going to discuss that. So first thing first, from our data, please remove our product description, remove year out of that, and there you'll be finding above to the sales USD, one order date, one field is there. Now this order date field, you can bring it to the rows. So when you bring it to the rows, what happens? This report structure comes automatically something like this because pivot creates like this. And this kind of structure you'll be getting only if you are there in 2016 and above versions of Microsoft Excel. If you're already working with the older version like 2013 or 2010, you will not be getting like this. And even though you get it, this kind of ready-made structure of a report doesn't give a better view to the audience. So now the question is how to present it better way. Keep your cursor in one of the year and right click on that. There you go for our ungroup. And when you click ungroup, you'll see that it has been neutralized the entire existing report pattern and it has given you the date wise respective invoice value. And this is what 2013 also you'll be getting the same report. Right, Snehal? So now, though the report is ready, but it is running in pages, date wise records. So it's of no use. Now, how to present it in an effective manner. Just see. Select your one of your date out of this and go for right click on that. You have an option group. And when you go to that group option, then it will take you to a dialog box. You will be finding the first invoice date and the last invoice date is being populated. And below to that, the categories, if you look at only month is in selection. So select years as well. And once you select years as well and click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding a perfect, beautiful hierarchy of your report, year-wise, month-wise, whatever the invoice value is populating on the screen. But when I present this, my boss is not happy. What is saying, Pravas, you have given me only month-wise and year-wise data. I want to see one more hierarchy. Like, why don't you create one more column and showcase the date-wise records? Like in Jan, suppose I have generated 10 invoices, those 10 invoices date-wise records boss is expecting. So that is called one more level of hierarchy. How to create it? Keep your cursor in one of the year and when you go for right click, again go for group and there you will be finding we have an option called days also there and that is yet to be selected. So you got to select that. And the moment you go and select this over here, what happens? You can notice when you click OK, one more hierarchy is being created. So this is how, whenever there is a need, how to present our date related information with this kind of hierarchy mode we have understood. So give it a try and check it's working. Any doubt, any queries, feel free to ask.
Could you please repeat it again?
You can share your screen. I'll guide you. Right. Okay. No, you will not get like this. Remove that year and month from the row field area. Remove the year and month.
This one.
Yeah. Just deactivate the checkboxes.
Okay.
Only sales USD. Let the sales USD have only.
In
No, no,
row.
no. Sales USD in the value. Sales USD not in the rows.
Okay.
I guess you were not there in the seat, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So take the order date above to the sales USD. You have the order date. Now take order date to the row area.
In the row. Yes. Okay.
So you'll be getting the report something like this towards your left. You see every date
Yes.
wise records will be coming up. So keep your cursor in
Mm,
one of the date and right click on that
mm.
and go for group and choose months, days and years. Yeah, click OK and you will be getting a proper hierarchy of the report.
Okay.
Right. So I
How
believe,
to
yeah,
delete this sheet?
delete what?
Previously we generated that sheet, sales report sheet.
I'm not getting Snell what you're saying. Could you please be more louder? Sorry.
Uh, लास्ट हमने जो सेल्स पर्सन के लिए जो सीट्स क्रिएट किए थे मल्टीपल सीट तो वो
हाँ हाँ
डिलीट कैसे करना
ओके ओके ठीक है आप स्क्रीन शेयर करिए
है
तो देखो आपका पहला है SM1, देखो SM1 वहां पे क्लिक करो। हाँ, अभी ये जो है पूरा फील्ड्स, नहीं नहीं, SM1 2 भी है, देखो उससे पहले एक SM1 2 भी है लेफ्ट साइड में। हाँ, उसको क्लिक करो। हाँ, अभी वहां से लेके SM9 तक आपको डिलीट करना है, करेक्ट?
यस।
राइट। नाउ टेक योर माउस पॉइंटर टू SM9। क्लिक मत करना, खाली पॉइंटर को लेके जाओ, खाली पॉइंटर को लेके जाओ SM9 तक। हाँ, जब सिलेक्शन करना हो, शिफ्ट बटन को प्रेस करो एंड SM9 को क्लिक करो। शिफ्ट बटन प्रेस करके SM9 को क्लिक करो। देखो अभी पूरा का पूरा शीट सिलेक्शन पे आ गया।
यस।
नाउ राइट क्लिक ऑन दैट and delete.
डिलीट। ओके।
Yes, and click delete. So continuous sheets, whatever you have now, it has been deleted. So this is the best way to delete multiple sheets at once.
ओके।
ठीक है।
प्रभास, मैंने आपको एक स्क्रीन प्रिंट भेजा है चैट बॉक्स में।
एक मिनट में देखता हूँ।
लाइक फॉर
हाँ
मी,
जी।
व्हाई इज इट नॉट दैट वो, जैसे आप लोगों का 2019 पूरा रो में है, या लाइक
हाँ, क्योंकि
जनवरी भी।
क्योंकि एक चीज आपने करना भूल गए। मैंने कहा था शुरुआत में, जो पिवट टेबल बनाते वक्त, जब पिवट 2 हमने बनाया, आपने ये नहीं किया। डिजाइन, रिपोर्ट लेआउट,
ओके।
रिपीट ऑल आइटम लेबल्स, आपने ये नहीं किया था। अभी देखो आपका आ जाएगा।
आ गया।
राइट।
इट्स देयर नाउ।
Chalo. So this is how, friends, we have got our pivot 7 ready with this. And this is how we have understood how to present our date related fields properly in our pivot. Now, let's do one thing. Just select our pivot 7 sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. एक नया pivot बनेगा, pivot table number 8.
प्रभास, अब उसको वो टैब को कलर कैसे देते हैं? लाइक व्हेन आई ट्राई टू सिलेक्ट दैट, एवरीथिंग्स ग्रे आउट, लाइक आई वोंट बी
No,
एबल
no,
टू डू एनीथिंग।
you need just right click, tab color, and use the colors.
टैब कलर, ओके, गॉट इट, थैंक यू।
Right, no problem. तो चलो pivot 8. अभी यहाँ पे एक चीज आप ध्यान से देखो। See, whenever you go for this kind of date related records to present in pivot table, pivot में दो नए फील्ड बनेंगे, जैसे कि months and years. Forget about days. This is for me, it is coming up, but for you, definitely months and years would be in place. These are not your real fields. These are your virtual fields. So whenever you want to analyze your data based on the years and months, you should not take these fields. You should always take these fields because these are our real fields. Okay. This is only one thing you have to keep in your mind. Hope you got the difference, what I'm trying to say.
Could you please repeat?
When you go for the date field, can you see in the bottom two fields are created, months and years?
Yes.
So these are not your real fields. These are the virtual fields. Real fields is
Yes.
which I have created a circle. You can see this is your real fields. So whenever
Yeah.
you want to analyze the data based on the year, month-wise analysis, something you want to make, you should take this circular fields only, what I have just circled it.
Okay.
Don't take these fields. Now, our date related records work is over. You can remove all these fields from this. All right. Now here, once we made it, let's see what else we can do with regard to pivot table. So let's bring our fields back, like product description in the rows, year into the columns, all these things we got it. Okay. नथिंग न्यू, जो पहला पिवट टेबल हमने बनाया था बस वही बना रहे हैं, नथिंग एल्स। एंड काइंडली सेव ऑल योर वर्कबुक्स। इतना सारा काम किया है, सब चला जाएगा फिर। So all are ready with your data? Kindly confirm.
Yes.
All right. Now, so here, let's go and discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. Okay? Now, if you remember, I told you something in day one that whenever you are presenting your data in numbers like billions, millions, lakhs, and crores, maybe our immediate whoever XYZ authority, they will be happy watching the same. But when you go and present the same to the management level, do you think that they're really happy watching that? No, they're not expecting that even. But they would like to see the revenue data. And what is the best way to present it? Is in terms of percentage. Do you remember how to make our data informative in day one? I told you.
Yes.
So now we are expecting the same from pivot. Though we have got last 3 years data, revenue data over here, the same we would like to present it in terms of percentage. But how? Technically, what we do or what our expert people they suggest us to do the job, I'll tell you, don't do that, just watch my screen. They will say, Pravas, go for this, and this is your indica data. कौन से सेल में है? B5 में. So manually type B5, उसको divide करो. कहाँ पे? Grand total में. कौन से सेल में? B16 पे. And this cell you should lock it. Then convert the same into percentage, and the same you can apply for others. Control D. And then you can go for a total. Then you can see this will be showing the value in terms of percentage. So this is for 2019 records. Now again, one more column you should go and populate over here. Okay, this is how people ask you to do the job. Okay. So this is nowhere connected to my pivot table. Even though I try hard, it is never going to be the part of pivot table. It is just a manual column. So this is not the right way to present it. ठीक है? तो क्या नहीं करना है ये हमको समझ में आ गया. Hope you are clear.
Yes.
Right. Now how to make it better. So working in pivot table itself, how to present it. Let's go and discuss. देखो. For that purpose, we need to do some interface arrangements or pivot table setup. What is that? देखो. In pivot table, we have got two types of grand total. Two types of grand total. This one, it is called as a row-wise grand total because each and every row-wise, the total is there, correct? Now, this is called our column-wise grand total because each and every column-wise total is there. So, for our calculations purpose, this row-wise grand total doesn't play any role. So, we need to remove the same. But how to remove a particular field out of our pivot table? We can't do that because all the fields are integrated over here. So in this case, the moment we go for this, ideally we prefer to hide a column. But if I hide a particular column after column D, my column F only will be visible, isn't it? And people can make out that there is something hidden. And this is also not the ideal process to deal with the same. So I'll tell you a beautiful technique how to manage this grand total of row to hide it, to remove it. So keeping your cursor in the pivot table, if you go to design tab, you have a very beautiful option over here called grand total on the left second one. And in this, you have an option called on for columns only. And the moment you go for this with immediate effect, you will be finding that grand total has gone. Can you see?
Yes.
Now, once this is gone, next, what do we need to apply the steps? Follow my steps, please. Just watch me 1 minute, watch my screen for a minute. I have got already sales USD in the value field area, correct? Now I'll do one thing, take this sales USD one more time to the value field area. So you can see a new field is generated called sum of sales USD2. I'll right click on that. There's an option called show values as, and there I'll go percentage of column total. I repeat, percentage of column total, not the grand total, not the row total, percentage of column total. And the moment I got it, can you see my entire data? Is it showing in terms of percentage? And if I see the total, is it showing 100%? Yes. Now I can change the field revenue percentage. So this is how the moment I go for this people, my data will be ready. So go for a try. So what we need to do first, we should go for over here. I'll work with the full screen. So first thing, sales USD, you bring it over here. Then right click on the column header, going to show values as and percentage of column total. So this will be giving you 100%.
Prabhas, when I'm trying to move the sales USD to values, it is showing
Mhm.
me the error.
Error.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the error is we can't do that to a.
Okay, can you share the screen? Let me see what is that, what kind of error it is coming.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Okay. We can't do that to a merge cell.
Merge cell. Okay. So where is the cell merged? Mhm. D after that E. Okay. There is no merge data, I guess. Actually, 1, 2, 3. Click OK. Click OK.
Hmm.
Go for undo. Okay, you're printing the things. Okay, fine, no issues. Fine, go to pivot 8.
Hmm.
Now, this you keep as it is. Okay, if you're
Hmm.
referring that. Now go to pivot 7.
Shall I take a
Okay,
new copy of pivot 7?
no, no problem, no problem. That's what, because you are keep trying some notes, so those notes purpose, this is the
Yeah.
problem. It might be coming up because one field might be generating. No issues. But do one thing, go to summary table. Go to summary
Hmm.
table. Keep your cursor anywhere in this table data, anywhere in the table data. Go to insert, insert, pivot table. Yeah. Okay. Right. Now this one you generate with that sales USD. Yep. Product description. in the rows and year in the column. Right.
Okay.
Uh, no, no, percentage of column total. Yes. Now you'll be getting,
Okay.
and you can rename the field
Yeah.
as revenue percentage.
Directly over here.
Yes, yes. These are not your real fields. These are virtual fields. You can
Yeah.
rename it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now that pivot
Okay.
8, what you have taken the screenshot, that screenshot alone, you
Mm.
cut it and paste it below to the pivot table in sheet 19. That one taken, Control X and paste it below. Now pivot
Okay.
8 you can delete. Pivot 8 you can delete. Yeah, that you delete. And now this one you rename as pivot 8.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I'm taking the control back on the screen. Now here, once we have these people over here, what we can do to do the next, let's see. देखो, हमने एक column बनाया and we named it as revenue percentage. Now, suppose say my boss is watching the data and he asked me, to us, this indica, whatever you are showing, definitely it is not of one invoice, it is consisting or consolidation of multiple invoices. ठीक है? So 2019 में indica के लिए हमने कितने invoice बनाए? So how many invoices related to indica we have generated or created that my boss wants to see? Number of invoices or invoice count. हमारे पास तो वो नहीं है. So how to create that? Just see. 1 minute, watch my screen again. I will take this sales USD one more time in this field area. We'll be getting one more field, sales USD2. Right click on that. There is an option called summarize values by. By default, it shows sum. I need to change it to count. This is the only thing I have to do. And you can see a beautiful column will be ready. And I can name it as invoice count. देखो चीजें कितने आसान हो जाती है when you do not have all these things, but at least you can customize the fields and you can create it. Okay, so how to do that? I'll just go for repeating the same. So you can also follow. First thing first, going to sales USD, I'll be bringing over here. Then I'll go for invoice discount filter named, and then summarize values by, and I need to select count. So kindly confirm once it is done. Any difficulties, do let me know. So I believe this is working.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Snehal, Amit, what is the status, please?
Working.
Sure. Now, take a look. Though we have got all these columns ready in this case, but do you think that this is the order I can present my data? Like, can I go and present in this order? What should be the ideal order? Like, first we should go for invoice count, followed by invoice value, followed by revenue percentage. Do you agree?
Yes.
So the same fashion we need to present it. How to do that? Just see. If I go to my value field area, The last page is dealing with my invoice count, right? There is a small navigation button over here I can select, and there's an option over here called move to beginning. So when I go and select this move to beginning, my entire order changes, and this is what I was expecting. So everything is now changing the order and populating properly, right? So first invoice count, followed by invoice value, followed by invoice value in terms of percentage. So this is how we have understood how to work around with our pivot table and create this kind of customized column by taking one field for multiple times and present it effectively. Any difficulties in pivot eight? Anybody?
No.
Fine.
No.
No.
Okay. So taking the live data, you have to keep practicing people because that is the only way to register the things in the mind. In training, everything seems to be like a fairy tale, but unless and until you practice, you can't get a grip. And you know your target audience very well, you know your data very well, and all these things are very much needed. Anyway, so let's go to our next. Keep your cursor in pivot 8, select, and holding the control button, drag it to the right. So one more pivot turns up, naming called pivot table number 9. Now, this fields like revenue percentage, you remove. Invoice count, you can remove. Then what we need to bring it. As you know, we have already deactivated this row as grand total. We have to bring it back. So keep your cursor in the pivot, where to go in the design, and in the grand total, you should choose on for rows and columns. And the moment you hit, it will show you the whole story over there. So once your data is ready, we'll discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot after a short break. So in my system, it is 4:15.4:30. Again, we'll be catching up. Have a brisk. Do your copy something you have it. We'll come back soon. We'll discuss the rest. Okay. So I'll be in mute. I'll be back at 4:30. So I believe everybody's back. Could you please respond in the chat box? Why for yes? All right. So how about others? Amit, Supriya, Snehal, could you please respond in the chat box if you're back to the seat?
I'm unable to send a message on chat.
Just log out and log in again. Okay, Snails, you able to see my screen, right? No problem, no? Hello.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, forget about chat. Whatever your
Okay,
queries, you can unmute and speak, not a problem. Okay,
okay.
fine. So now we are going to discuss people in pivot table number 9. So one of the beautiful concept again about pivot, like how to design a dashboard or how to create a one-page report by using pivot table, we are going to see that. Now, this dashboard, this is not an alien uh, subject, or it's not an alien word for us. We have seen many more times in the corporates. Whenever you present many more information or bunch of files, you take it in the meeting and present it to the audience, they don't like it. They immediately demand, why don't you make a simple one file report or one page of report, or why don't you create a dashboard? So mostly when you present the information to the stakeholders, management people, customers, vendors, they don't have time to go through all of your data records, what you have created. So they want or seek a information on one page of report. So that's called nothing but a dashboard where the entire information should be served in one plate kind of stuffs. Now, dashboard, when you talk about it, there are some common factors you'll be finding in the dashboards. One, there will be a drop down. And when you click the drop down list, the many more variables will open. You have to select one of the variable. Then based on that, a tabular data would be there. And based on the tabular data, you would be having a graphical presentation. So when you have all these three elements in place, that is classified as a dashboard. Okay, so we are going to create something like that. But before proceeding further with the dashboard, over here, I would like to take you through some sophisticated dashboards or real-time dashboards so that you can also have a clarity what we are up to, what we are going to gain, or what is the aim of our exercise right now. So next 2 to 5 minutes, just watch my screen. No need to do anything on your screen. Okay. So let me take you through some beautiful dashboards. So I'm going to take you through first one HR dashboard. Okay. So this is what one HR dashboard of an organization, say my client. What is that element we have? You could notice that entire department names in one box, and wherever the office is available in another box. Last 9 years data is there with us to analyze. And these are the list of employee names, whatever we have, that is also in one box. And there are different types of charts and graphs. You could see line, column, pie, bar, everything over here. Okay. So this is called a beautiful or sophisticated dashboard. Now, how it works, I'll tell you. At any point of time, if you want to ask what is the headcount trend of HR department during last 9 years. So I'll go and choose over here HR, and this chart is going to change. Just focus on the chart. I'm changing here. Is it changing? Yes. Now, if you want to know in HR department, Los Angeles City, what is the headcount? trend over here, this chart is going to change. So human resource, I'll go for Los Angeles, and over there, you can notice over here, this chart is going to change immediately. Now, if you want to know in human resource department, Los Angeles City during the year 2006, what was the breakup of salary? This is going to change. And based on that, this chart and this chart is going to change. So let's see whether it is changing. Human resource, Los Angeles City, 2006. You see, this is changing, right? So this is how everything is happening in one interface only. We are not going for a separate tab, separate Excel file for the same to deal with, right? And this is called a sophisticated dashboard. And to create something like this, you need some time. It's not just overnight, put the formula and get the answer. You need to spend time for getting it done. But this is just one-time activity. And to create something like this, of course, we need to have 10 years or 9 years data to play around. So one more sheet, this is what the data behind that report. And 90% calculations is nothing but your pivot calculations. Since afternoon, whatever the things we have been learning so far, everything is implemented over here. Now, there is one more tab. You could see the file details or list details is there. This is what periodically I have to update. So whenever a new employee joins, I need to add. If anyone leaves, I need to remove. If any new department I have introduced, I should add it. Any new location I have introduced my office, I should add that. Any new year data, I need to upload it in my existing summary report or dashboard. I need to keep updating the records. So this is what the backend activity only I need to keep doing. And I need to touch anything in this dashboard sheet. And trust me, nowadays, you know one thing, in the corporate, they get it outsourced and they pay a hefty amount for each and every dashboard. Roughly, you can say 25 to 30,000 each dashboard they pay to the consultants. So think about it. Not like this, at least 50% of the work, if you're able to do it out of this, then that will be a great achievement and that will be an asset for the company. Trust me. So this is one dashboard. Now, I'll show you one more dashboard of sales department. So kindly take a look. So I'll go for sales dashboard. Okay. So in this dashboard, if you look at, we have our options like multiple charts, graphs, everything is there. And we have got month, product categories, sales representative names and regions, everything is over here. Fine. Now, suppose say as a company chief marketing officer, I want to know what is my performance of Eastern Zone. So I'll go and click in this East Coast. The entire chart details will be reflecting the story of Eastern Zone only. Now, if I want to know in Eastern Zone, what is the performance of my salesman, Jenny Paul, I'll click on it. And this entire chart again going to reflect for the Jenny Paul's performance. So this is again a dashboard, and more or less we are going to create something like this. All right. Hope it is clear what we are up to. So what you believe, is it going to help you? If you learn how to design that, is it going to help you?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Right. So let's see now how to design such kind of beautiful dashboards over there in pivot table. Now, some basic ground rules, people. Whenever you happen to create such kind of dashboards, you need to take the help of multiple objects. And the object's alignment should be pinpoint accurate. Pinpoint accurate. And whenever you take some objects, it must contain some high definition colorful buttons. Now, having said this, let's go to our pivot table, and above to the pivot area, you could find there are two blank rows are populated. Keep your cursor in one of the blank row and insert a row, Alt I R. So I'm working in full screen. Anybody is having any issues, please unmute and speak. Don't drop anything in the chat box. Now to repeat the last step, I should go for hitting F4 and ensure that 10 to 15 blank rows you have added above to the pivot area. Now, once you have done with this, what's next? Keep your cursor anywhere in the pivot table, anywhere in pivot table, and then go to our analyze or pivot table analyze or options tab, whatever you have, depending upon the version. And there you have an option called insert slicer. This is what we have seen already in our day two itself when you go for our data sorting. But now we are going to discuss in depth. So when you go and click insert slicer, it will take you to a dialog box something like this. Now, this will be showing the entire list of the field headers, whatever we have in our source data. Now, when I'm thinking to integrate slicers with my pivot table, we need to follow a rule. Now, what is the rule says? Rule says that first you need to have a look at your pivot area. What are the fields already taken, like year, product description, and sales USD? Those three fields you should not choose from the slicer box. You should not choose them. Apart from those three fields, anything else you want to analyze or work with, say, I want to see my customer-wise data, I should select customer. If I want to see my salesperson-wise analysis, I need to do salesperson, you can select. If you want to see your region-wise data, you can select. If you want to see your month-wise records, you can select. So what are the fields? Customer, salesperson, region, month. Kindly ensure all these three, four boxes are selected. And the moment you click OK, you will be finding four slices are ready. So those slicers, we have to take it and we need to arrange it in the space, whatever we have created above to the pivot data. But how to select a slicer? To select a slicer, you should select the slicer by the slicer name. And you can take it wherever you want. What is your order? If you want, you can retain that. So once you have aligned the way I'm showing, please let me know.
Done.
Done.
Right. Now, though we have arranged in one line all these slicers people, but the look and feel of the slicers are not so great. So now we need to little bit beautify the same, but how to do that? See, when I select one of the slicer in my ribbon tab, there will be an extreme right one option would be showing slicer or tools or options, something like that, or design. Again, depending upon the version. And there we have got multiple styles. You could see these are the styles, and there is a more button over here. You can click that. And when you go and click that more button, it will show some different styles. And basically it has been classified into two categories, light and dark. So here you need to go for dark colors because we need some high definition multiple colors button over here. So I'll go and choose one dark color out of this. Again, one more slicer, one more dark, one more slicer, one more dark. And over here, one more slicer, one more dark. Now, colorful changes happened. But the problem is if you look at in an each I mean, in each slicer, if you look at the scroll bars are there. This kind of scroll bars doesn't give a great look. So how to remove the same? So to remove this kind of scroll bars, people, what you need to do, select a slicer and you can see in the same slicer tab or options or design tab, you have an option called columns. And by default, it shows one for everyone. So instead of one, just change it, increase the column number, and you would see your slicer variables started distributing into multiple columns. So it is up to you. There is no hard and fast rule. You need to go for 4, 3, 5. It is up to you, depending upon the space, how you want to manage. The moment I took 4 columns, no doubt my customer name is there in 4 columns, but it is not in a proper display. I can't read it. So what I can do, I can simply just enhance this width, and this is going to be ready. Similarly, region, I'll make it 3. Then I'll go for salesperson, and that also I'll make it 3. Then I'll go for month, and that also I'll be making it 3 over here. So this is how we have understood that how to remove this vertical scroll bars from our slicers. Check, I believe it's working. So once it is
Yes,
ready,
yes, ready.
okay, okay. How about others?
Ready.
Right. Now, once your slicers are ready, people, select one of the slicer and go for Control A. So Control A will be helping you to select all the slicers at once. And then you will be finding in the same tab of the slicer tools options design जो भी है, there's an option called align.
Um, Prabhas, I just have one question. Sorry to interrupt.
Uh-huh. No problem.
जैसे आपका फर्स्ट स्लाइसर वाला मंथ है that is sorted like January, February, March. Mine is not like it's messed up like January बीच में ही March है April है. So
नहीं,
like
ऐसा तो
what
नहीं आएगा. You can share your screen. Let me have a look. Hmm. Because you started operating. See, that is what I told you. Don't click inside anywhere in the slicer. See, in the month top right corner, there is a button in the month top right corner.
this?
उसके बाजू में राइट में. हाँ, उसको क्लिक करो. हाँ, फिर से रीजन को भी क्लिक करो. रीजन में भी आपने क्लिक करके रखा हुआ है. रीजन में जाओ, क्लिक करो. राइट. You just do one thing. You just reduce the zoom option in the bottom right corner. It is 100%. Make it to 80%. Yes. हाँ, अभी थोड़ा अलाइन करो थोड़ा बहुत अच्छे से. नहीं, इतना एक्सटेंड करने की जरूरत नहीं. सी, up to what level you don't do that. That is what, don't do that. I never said you to go for individually to align like this and reduce the height and width. पहले जैसा था वैसा ही रखो, वैसा ही रखो. अंडू करो, अगेन अंडू. हाँ, उसको बाजू, हाँ बस. फिर रीजन को पास में रखो थोड़ा. इसको भी क्लिक करो. वहां पे टॉप राइट कॉर्नर आपने क्लिक करके रखा हुआ है. सेल्स पर्सन का राइट क्लिक. हाँ बस. थोड़ा अभी उसको और नजदीक लाओ, सेल्स पर्सन को. नहीं, रीजन को नहीं. हाँ बस छोड़ दो. इतना ही रखो, इतना ही रखो. मैनुअली एक एक को ऑपरेट मत करो. जो नीचे से आप ऊपर नीचे सब हाइट कम कर रहे हो ना, उसको मैनुअली मत करना.
Okay.
हम्म. खाली अभी एक काम करो, कस्टमर को थोड़ा डिस्टेंस में रखो. कस्टमर को, क्योंकि राइट साइड में हमारा बहुत स्पेस पड़ा हुआ है. कस्टमर को जो राइट, हाँ बस अभी उतना रखो. नाउ guys, you can also follow from the screen of Supriya. I am just guiding you. Now Control A. Select one of the slicer
Okay.
and then Control A.
Okay.
Then go to your slicer tab in the ribbon, extreme right. हाँ, उसमें एक align option है देखो,
Okay.
उसके लेफ्ट में, हाँ उसमें जाओ, align top. So from the top margin, everything will be aligned properly. Again, go to align. Now go for distribute horizontally. Now distribute horizontally क्यों? क्योंकि between the slicers also spacing has to be uniform. तो इसलिए between this alignment distribute horizontally भी necessary है. होने के बाद, no, again, don't click outside anywhere. See, so we are not yet done. Select one of the slicer, Control A. Go to slicer. Now, next thing what you need to do, next to align, you have a grouping option. Go for that, and inside group will be there. So click the group button. And now this entire things will be turned into a single object. Okay, kindly confirm all of you. कुछ मत करो,
Yes,
कुछ मत करो सुप्रिया.
done.
Chalo. Now, the moment you have done with grouping, is it really necessary? Yes. क्योंकि अगर आपने ग्रुप नहीं किया, इतना सारा जो मेहनत हमने किया है इसको ब्यूटीफाई करने में, स्लाइसेस को अरेंज करने में, अलाइन करने में, इट विल गो इन वेन. क्यों? क्योंकि कल जाके जब आप पिवोट में काम करोगे, योर स्लाइसेस विल स्टार्ट ओवरलैपिंग विथ ईच अदर. सो दिस इज द रीजन व्हाई टू सेफगार्ड ऑल दिस थिंग्स वी आर स्पेंडिंग दिस मच ऑफ टाइम. ओके, तो चलो यहाँ पे होने के बाद, नाउ आई एम टेकिंग द कंट्रोल ऑन माय
Mhm.
स्क्रीन and over here. Now I have gone to align center, sorry, align top. Then I'll go to align, distribute horizontally. Then I'll go to group over here and made it. Now, though we have made a group of these people, but you can notice each and every slicer bottom line pair, we have some unwanted spaces populating. Now the objective is we need to remove the same, but how? So we don't need to go and do it individually. See the beauty, there is a tab in the center over here, one button. So this button we need to select and hold it and drag it bit up. But while doing the dragging, just ensure that you are not regaining the status of your vertical scroll bars in any of the slicers. अगर आ रहा है तो थोड़ा उसका height थोड़ा नीचे से बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. So kindly confirm everybody is getting your slicer set up like this.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. How about others? Supriya and Amit?
Yes, fine.
Okay. Fine. Now, though we have made all these arrangements, people, but between the slicer and pivot, we have some unwanted spaces, unwanted rows. So let's delete them. So our slicers are ready, and with this pivot is also ready. Okay. Now, take a look. When you go for this kind of data presentations, one page or report, people, this pivot table fields is no more playing a role. And you need to deactivate this. You want to close this. How? So there is a button over here towards your right side naming called your cross button. This is for closing purpose. You can just click on it and hold that pivot table fields will be disappeared. Now, keeping your cursor in the pivot table anywhere, okay? Go to our Analyze Pivot Table Analyze or Options tab. Do you see an option called Pivot Chart?
Yes.
So you can click that and it will take you to your entire chart family. You don't need to do any changes. By default, it selects only the clustered column. Let it be. Click OK. And now a chart is ready. The same, you can arrange it next to the data and you can extend the chart width exactly in line with the slicer. Now the chart looks good.
Yes.
Now, see the beauty of pivot chart. Whenever you prepare a chart out of the pivot table, you'll be getting two ready-made filter buttons in the chart area. So one is product description, one is year. You will never find such kind of filter buttons in the normal course of chart actions. This is exclusively applied only for pivot charts. Okay. So in this case, the moment you go for this, though the chart is there, but it is not looking so great. So we need to little bit work on the charts formatting also. How? Selecting your chart, the moment you go for this, there is a design button ऊपर activate होगा, उसको click करो. And there are many more styles are available, and you have a more button as well. So go to the more button and go for the last one, the style name, last style. Why the last one? इतने सारे हैं तो last में क्यों जाना है? देखो, when you compare the other one with the last one will be giving you some kind of glossy impact, embossing effect, or some kind of metallic effect, you can get it, or shadow impact, you can get it. So let's go for the last one. Now you see, compared to the previous version of our chart, now it is somewhat looking better. But the problem is inside the chart, some unwanted grid lines are there. So how to remove these grid lines? You can click on that plus symbol, selecting the chart, click on that plus symbol and go for grid lines checkbox to remove. All right. So this grid line checkbox I have deactivated and my chart is neat and clean. So kindly confirm once it is done, save your files.
Yeah, done.
Done.
Great. Now, once we have done with this, remember one thing, whatever we have done so far, anybody can do. Now the time has come to discuss how to make our presentation different from others. So what you can do, keep your cursor anywhere in a blank cell, okay? So ideally, when you go for this kind of one-page report or dashboard to present it, you have to remove the unwanted area or stuffs from the interface. What is that unwanted stuffs? Just see. If you go for our formula bar is unwanted, column headers is unwanted, row headers is unwanted in this area. Then if you look at tab, this ribbon menu also unwanted. We are not going to work with further on this. So how to remove all these things? Simple. Keeping your cursor in a blank row, go to the view tab. There we have three options. You can notice naming over here called headings, grid lines, formula bar. All these checkboxes are on. So kindly deactivate all these three. Right. Now, ribbon bar, how to remove it? We can't remove it. Only thing is we can hide or unhide. And to hide the same, go for Control F1. It's a toggle key. Same key to hide, same key to unhide. Control F1. right? Now, what kind of feeling you are getting? As if some blank page is there, the entire template is embedded on that. And is it giving a neat and clean feeling?
Yes, it's not looking like we have done it in Excel.
Sorry?
Yes, it's not even looking like that we have done it in Excel sheet. Like
Yeah, yeah, that
my
is
first
what we are.
impression, it's
Yes,
not done in Excel.
right. So that is what people will be also asking. How did you do this? Report is separate, but first, how this kind of arrangements you did it. That's what we want. So when you do the things differently, people will appreciate. तो चलो यहाँ तक क्लियर कोई सवाल है किसी का
No.
चलो now one thing over here again I would like to tell you people as I said in day one अगर आपके पास 365 है then you are really blessed तो चलो अगर 365 है थोड़ा बहुत उसका भी फायदा उठाते हैं so now whatever I am going to do it this is just an optional one it's not mandatory but have a look at my screen जब आप प्रैक्टिस करोगे तब आप इसको करना बट मेरे स्क्रीन पे देखो how to beautify your report how to give a add on तो देखो मेरे पास ये रिपोर्ट है मैं यहाँ पे रखा कर्सर and I have started inserting few rows ठीक है I'll go to my insert over there and I'll go to a shape I'll go for a rectangle and this rectangle I will draw in this pattern okay now there I'll name it as sales dashboard and I will highlight it now to give you a background feel of color properly I should go for some say dark gray looks good now to claim that this report is related to the sales department kind of some analysis I have made if you go to insert in 365 we have got a very beautiful option called icon. Now, when I go for this icon and if I click, it will be connecting to my Microsoft Office server. And then I'll just suppose go and inquire about some chart related some icons. There are many beautiful icons that will be displayed. Now, I believe this icon will be quite matching to my data. I have taken that. I will go for insert. Now, this is popping up. I will arrange it in the same and go for graphics view. And then I can choose the white color. So this will be looking good over here, right? Now, since I am working in Tata Motors, just to give a feel to my audience that this is the authenticated data, it's not just random data I am taking and presenting. So what you should have as a add-on, देखो पहले. So I'll go to my Microsoft Explorer or Microsoft Edge, anything. I'll go to Google and suppose I'll go for Tata Motors logo, something I'll type it and whichever the logo Tata is now recently they are using it. So I can take that and over here, I'll copy it, copy image, and there I'll go and paste it. Now this is occupying the entire space. I'll just remove it diagonally and then I will plot it. Looks good, isn't it? So what kind of message you are giving to the audience? I am not only presenting my data, I am also claiming that this is my organization's data and this is belong to sales department and this is a authenticated data. So this is what a add-on, not mandatory, optional, but if you give it, people will love to see it. ठीक है कोई सवाल है यहाँ पे यहाँ तक Here,
Yes.
right. Now, next, what we need to do, see, being a presenter, always remember one thing, do not display many more information to the audience. The more the information you show, the more the questions you are going to invite in the meeting. तो आपने कुछ सोचा होगा इतने सारे शीट्स के साथ क्या करना है आइडियली व्हाट वी प्रेफर टू डू वी
Hide.
गो फॉर हाइड तो चलो डिस्कस करते हैं मान लो हमने सब कुछ हाइड कर दिया बट दिस pivot 9 आई शुड कीप इट ओपन दैट आई कांट हाइड इट बिकॉज दैट इज माय कोर बिजनेस एरिया जहां पे मेरा रिपोर्ट है करेक्ट
Yeah.
तो इसको मैंने ओपन में रखा बाकी सब हाइड कर दिए सपोज से टेक एन एग्जांपल कुछ करो नहीं यहाँ पे बस देखो मैंने ये रिपोर्ट बना के सपोज मैं प्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ एंड बाय मिस्टेक और अननोइंगली मेरा राइट क्लिक वाला ऑप्शन एनेबल हो गया तो क्या होगा यहाँ पे वो अनहाइड बटन एक्टिवेट हो जाएगा इफ आई हैव हिडन समथिंग एंड ऑडियंस इज स्मार्ट एनफ टू अंडरस्टैंड अनहाइड एक्टिवेट हुआ मतलब यू हैव हिडन समथिंग now suppose say in front of me in the meeting my vice president is sitting and he asked me this question it was what is this what is this sheets about why don't you open that. So now, can I say something like to him, sir, whatever you are looking for is there in front of you. Why you are asking unwanted questions? Can I say something in return to my vice president in the meeting like this? No way. So now, even though I'm not willing to showcase those details, but I am forced to show this, and he will ask a lot of questions. Now, entire focus from the presentation area is gone, and it has ended up with something else. So this is what the reason why people you have to be very particular what you are showing to your audience. So now the question is over here, what's the point? What's the point of hiding the sheets when a simple right click and unhide option will work for you, right? No meaning. So then how to deal with the same? The best practice, hide in such a way nobody can unhide that and nobody will be ever be knowing that what you have hidden, how many sheets you have hidden, where is your data, where is your source data sheet, where is your workings, where is your pivot. Nobody will be knowing about this except you. Then it makes sense. But how to make it? Just see. I'll tell you a very beautiful technique. Watch, start working with me. Going to the file menu, you have the options tab in the bottom. Now go for the options tab. And here you will be finding, okay, naming called advanced category in the Excel options dialog box on the screen. And there a scroll bar will be available in the right side in the same window and bring it to the down somewhere in the middle, you will be finding a option called display. So when you go for display over here, within that, a subsection called display options for this workbook. So when you go for display options for this workbook, you can see there's an option called show sheet tabs. Okay, this option is checked, so you have to uncheck this. That's it. And once you do so, click OK and see the beauty. So what you need to do first, going to our file menu, then options, then advanced, then bringing the scroll down somewhere in the middle, you'll be getting a group called display and display options for this workbook and show sheet tabs and then click OK. Right. Now see the beauty when you click OK, the entire sheet tabs are disappeared. Nobody will be ever be knowing what you have hidden, how many sheets you have prepared, where is your pivot, where is your source data, except you. Nobody has the idea about it. Right? Looks cool now. Entire things is neat and clean. What say?
Yes.
Right. Now, once you made it, save all your files and watch my screen for next 2 minutes. Okay. Suppose मान लो मैंने ऐसा सब बनाया, बॉस ने मुझे पूछा कि प्रभास आर यू रेडी विद द प्रेजेंटेशन, आई सेड यस. सो उन्होंने मुझे मीटिंग में इनवाइट किया and he has greeted all our delegates and he asked me, Prabhas, please start the show. So when I opened the file, he immediately said to me that we are not interested watching last 3 years data, only showcase 2021. So I'll go to my chart filter, year filter is there. I'll go there and I'll choose only 2021. And when I click OK, so this is the entire history of 2021. Now, anybody who is interested knowing the data in terms of billions, millions, lakhs, crores, they can read my pivot table data. And those who do not have the time, but they want to understand what is the status, they can look at my chart area. Like from Genex Nano, we got the maximum revenue, and from Sumo Gold, we got the least revenue. Easy to express. Now, when I presented this, suppose say my boss who is sitting in front of me, next to him, my chief marketing officer is sitting. Immediately he asked one question. क्या पूछा कि प्रभास अगर ये 2021 का डेटा है तो हमें ये बताओ what is the performance of salesman 5. So I'll go to my salesperson slicer and I'll choose SM5, and this is what the story you will be getting it over here, right? Now सपोज मान लो मैंने ऐसा प्रेजेंट किया, उन्होंने कहा ओके सेल्समैन 5 का 2021 में ऐसा रिजल्ट है, जरा ये बताओ कि सेल्समैन 5 का 2021 में मई महीने में परफॉर्मेंस कैसा था. तो आई गो टू माय मंथ स्लाइसर, आई विल चूज मई एंड दिस इज व्हाट द स्टेटस. ओनली वन प्रोडक्ट ही हैज सोल्ड. कौन सा? हेक्सा. किसको? कौन है कस्टमर? टूली मोटर्स. और कौन से कंट्री में गया थे? अफ्रीका. So can you see? Everything is happening on a click of button in the same interface. We don't need to navigate anywhere. We don't need to scroll down a lot. So this is how people, when you integrate your slicers, pivot table, pivot chart, that makes a dashboard. And trust me, when you present something like this, whoever is there in the audience side, they are going to appreciate your work. Okay. So give it a try and check all these things are working. Any doubt, any queries?
Clear for
Any,
me.
yeah. Any difficulties from anybody?
No.
हेलो.
Yep.
अगर हमें अनदर चार्ट इंसर्ट करना है तो हम कैसे कर सकते हैं?
Data कहाँ पे?
सॉरी.
Where is the data? Another chart means chart purpose data we need, right?
यस.
Right. So you should have another pivot table. Then only one more chart you can prepare.
That
Correct?
time we have to add another pivot table.
Yes. Each pivot table can be delivered as a one pivot chart. So if you are expecting multiple pivot charts, then multiple pivot table has to be there.
Okay.
Yes. तो अभी यहाँ पे सिर्फ हमने एक ही pivot table बनाया, तो इसलिए एक ही pivot chart आया.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. So I believe now we all are getting the same response on navigation. You are getting the same response the way I did it.
Yes.
चलो. Now we have understood that how to create this kind of dashboard. So once our presentation is over, how to restore our data. Let's go for it. So देखो डेटा को रिस्टोर करने के लिए पहले अपने स्लाइसर के टॉप राइट कॉर्नर में देखो each and every slicers there is a clear filter button is there. You can keep clicking upon the same and your charts or the pivot table जो भी था it starts restoring. Now going to our chart, instead of going for 1 year, I can go for year filter, clear filter, and this is also giving my entire data set. Now, what are the other things we have deactivated? The sheet tabs, we need to bring it back. Same option, where to go? Going to file, then options, then advanced, and then scroll down. Display options for this workbook. You can see show sheet tabs. This remain unchecked. So we can just go and activate over there. And the moment you activate this for here and click OK, immediately your entire data will be stored. Now, what are the other things we need to activate? जो कि हमने deactivate किया है. Keep your cursor in a blank cell and go to View tab. हमने क्या क्या deactivate किया था View tab से अगर याद हो? Grid lines, headings, formula bar. तो ये तीनों को activate करो.
बस अगर ग्रिड लाइन को एक्टिवेट कर रहे तो देन वी आर गेटिंग दैट लाइंस जो एक्सेल
Yes,
में हम
yes. All right, so now we are done all with our pivot table number 9. So this is how people taking your live data. You need to keep practicing. Techniques remain the same, only the data may be different. So you know your target audience very well and you know what people are looking at. Only thing is you have to present that data and you can make it different from others. And trust me, when you present something like this, definitely anybody from the presentation area at the end is going to ask a question. How did you do all these things in Excel? Because they have the belief all this kind of presentations would be possible only if you are there in Power BI. But where we made it in Excel. So that's why it is surprising for them. But when you surprise people, that makes a positive impact in your KRA report also. All right. तो चलो यहाँ तक क्लियर हुआ. अब एक काम करते हैं. Go to pivot table number 6. Okay. And holding the control button, drag it to the right. So you have now one more pivot ready, naming pivot table number 10. So here in this pivot table, the salesperson work is over. When I click the cursor in the pivot table, my pivot table fields on the right side is missing. How to bring it back? Simple, right click anywhere in the pivot table, show field list, and this is going to be restored. Okay? Now, since afternoon, you would have noticed we have dealt with so many features of pivot. And as a layman, if I think about एक ही शीट में एक ही पिवट टेबल हमने बनाया तो ऐसे यूनिक पिवट टेबल हमने 9 शीट्स में बनाए. डू यू एग्री?
Yes.
राइट. सो अभी एक डिस्कस करते हैं. व्हाट इफ यू हैव मल्टीपल पिवट टेबल्स, एक से ज्यादा पिवट टेबल अगर हमारे पास हैं एक ही शीट में, उसको कैसे प्रेजेंट करेंगे? सो हाउ टू प्ले अराउंड विद मल्टीपल पिवट डेटा एंड शोकेस ए ब्यूटीफुल कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ स्टोरी टू द पीपल at once on a click of button. Let's discuss that. Okay. So in one line, if you want to say how to create more or less a kind of a BI model and showcase the story to the people, we are going to discuss that. लेकिन उसके लिए पहले ये जो अपना पिवट टेबल है उसमें से जो सेल्स पर्सन वाला फील्ड लगा है उसको हटाओ. Okay. Now
Yeah.
keep your cursor anywhere in the pivot table and go for Control A to copy the same, Control C, then leave 1 or 2 rows down and paste it. ठीक है. तो हमने पहले पिवट टेबल को कॉपी किया, नीचे 2 लाइन आइटम छोड़ के पेस्ट किया. अभी सवाल यह है कि ये दोनों पिवट टेबल सेम है या अलग है? आपको क्या लग रहा है?
Both are same.
यस नेहल.
Maybe it's same.
चलो, यहाँ पे अगर आपको लगता है कि ये सेम है तो भी आप सही हो. अगर आपको लगता है कि ये अलग है दोनों, वो भी आप सही हो. कैसे दोनों कैसे हो सकते हैं? देखो, इंफॉर्मेशन वाइज दीज आर सेम पिवट टेबल, लेकिन नेचर वाइज दीज आर टू डिफरेंट पिवट टेबल. कैसे? इफ यू रिमेंबर द मोमेंट आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग विथ माय फर्स्ट पिवट टेबल, मैंने आपको बताया था हर एक पिवट टेबल का अपना एक यूनिक नाम होता है. करेक्ट? लेट्स गो एंड एक्सप्लोर दैट अगेन. कीपिंग योर कर्सर इन द फर्स्ट पिवट टेबल, जब आप राइट क्लिक करोगे नीचे बॉटम से सेकंड ऑप्शन क्या मिलता है? पिवट टेबल ऑप्शंस, उसको क्लिक करो. And here in this dialog box, you will be finding your pivot table name. Pivot table 1 for me. For you, it may be the same or may be different, no issues. But remember, there is a name, correct?
Yes, there's a name.
Now,
Pivot table
Yes.
2.
go to the below pivot table and again go for right click pivot table options and in the same dialog box, just see, क्या ये अलग सा नाम दे रहा है? नाम सबका अलग हो सकता है, मेरा 23 है, आपका 25 हो सकता है, किसी का 35 हो सकता है, but there is a different name, right?
Yes.
So this is how we got immediate confirmation that though we copied or pasted, but technically these are two different pivot table. So now remember that name, whatever the pivot number we have, okay? But there is no point having same information in both the pivot tables. So let's do something. Keep your cursor anywhere in this pivot data and go to your pivot table fields. Remove product description. तो एक तो product description already है, तो इसमें हम जाएंगे, product को deactivate कर देंगे and take customer into the row area. And to differentiate this from the first one, go to the design tab and just change some colors or styles. तो अभी देखो, देखने से समझ में आ रहा है कि ये दोनों अलग हैं, है कि नहीं?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, once we have done with this over here, next क्या कर सकते हैं? देखो, अभी कुछ चीजें मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा, ध्यान से देखो मेरे स्क्रीन के ऊपर। हमने कस्टमर का डेटा लेके डाला यहाँ पे, ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। नाउ आई हैव टेकन ओनली मैक्सिमम 10 to 15 कस्टमर्स, बट डू यू बिलीव दैट कि कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या इंडस्ट्री में ऐसा कोई रेस्ट्रिक्शन है कि ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अगर टाटा मोटर्स है तो सिर्फ 20 कस्टमर के साथ ही काम करेगा? कोई और है जो कि गियर सिस्टम में काम करता है, वो सिर्फ 25 कस्टमर के साथ काम कर सकता है। कोई बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री है, ये सिर्फ 40 कस्टमर के काम कर सकता है। ऐसा कुछ कहीं पे रेस्ट्रिक्शन है कोई भी इंडस्ट्रीज में?
No.
बिल्कुल नहीं। तो कस्टमर विल बी डेफिनेटली एन नंबर्स। तो मैंने यहाँ पे मान लो कस्टमर को लेके डाला एंड आई एम डीलिंग विथ माइट बी 2000 कस्टमर्स, तो क्या होगा, 2000 लाइन आइटम ऐसे बन के आएंगे, है कि नहीं? ना 2000 लाइन आइटम इतना बड़ा डेटा एक ही विंडो में कैसे दिखाएंगे? भले ही हमने पिवोट किया, समराइज किया, वहां पे स्लाइसेस डाले, बहुत कुछ किया आपने, लेकिन दिखाएंगे कैसे इतना सारा डेटा? सो दिस इज व्हाट मोर पेनफुल। सो नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज हाउ टू प्रेजेंट इट इफेक्टिवली। पहली बात, whatever we are preparing people over here, this is not meant for us, this is for the audience. तो आपको क्या लगता है, ऑडियंस को रियली 2000 लाइन आइटम डेटा देखने में कोई दिलचस्पी है? बिल्कुल नहीं। तो ऑडियंस क्या चाहती है? दे वांट टू सी ओनली टॉप 10 कस्टमर्स, टॉप 5 कस्टमर्स, बॉटम 10 कस्टमर्स, बॉटम 5 कस्टमर्स, ऐसा ही देखना चाहते हैं। तो चलिए, इन दिस केस इफ आई वांट टू प्रेजेंट माय डेटा ओनली टॉप 5 कस्टमर्स, देखो कस्टमर के हेडर के ऊपर एक फिल्टर लगा हुआ है, मैंने क्लिक किया, उसमें मिलेगा वैल्यू फिल्टर्स, फिर उसमें जाके देखो नीचे एक टॉप 10 वाला चीज मिलेगा, टॉप 10। और मैंने जब क्लिक किया टॉप 10, ऐसे डायलॉग बॉक्स मिलेगा जहां पे 10 लिखा है, आई गो फॉर 5, and when I go for 5 over here and click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding that it is going to show only top 5 customers out of my entire customers list. देखा pivot कितना छोटा हो गया? Make it crispy, informative, and what people exactly looking at that we are presenting. Make sense?
Yes.
Right. Now, similarly, अगर मान लो मुझे यहाँ पे ये डेटा नहीं दिखाना है, सब प्रोडक्ट का नहीं दिखाना है, सिर्फ टॉप 5 प्रोडक्ट का दिखाना है, तो जाओ प्रोडक्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन में क्लिक करो, वैल्यू फिल्टर्स, टॉप 10 एंड टॉप 5, क्लिक ओके। Now, between our first and the below pivot table, if you look at, some unwanted spaces is created. तो एक काम करो, जितना उसका गैप और स्पेसिंग है, ऊपर से एक लाइन, नीचे से एक लाइन छोड़ दो, बाकी के रोज को डिलीट करो। ठीक है। नाउ ये जो पिवट फील्ड्स दिख रहा है राइट साइड में, इसका अभी और कोई रोल नहीं है, आप इसको हटा सकते हो, बंद कर सकते हो। अभी जो मैं बोलने वाला हूँ बहुत ही अहम चीज है, थोड़ा ध्यान से सुनो। हम इस तरह से जब पिवट टेबल बनाते हैं एंड व्हेन यू स्टार्ट वर्किंग विथ इट, क्या होता है ना, बार बार आपका पिवट का फॉर्मेट चेंज होता रहता है, इट गेट्स रिस्टोर्ड और रिफ्रेश्ड। तो वहां पे हमारा दिक्कत बढ़ जाता है, फॉर्मेटिंग हम बार बार नहीं कर सकते, दैट इज बिकमिंग मोर पेनफुल। सो नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज, एक बार फॉर्मेटिंग सेट कर लिया, वो परमानेंट कैसे रहेगा? मुझे बार बार ये फॉर्मेटिंग को जाके काम नहीं करना है, तो क्या कर सकते हैं देखो। तो चलो, जैसे कि हमने फॉर्मेटिंग, मैंने प्रोडक्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन को थोड़ा बढ़ा दिया, कॉलम विड्थ को, ये सब चीज जो कॉलम जितना भी है मैंने इसको भी थोड़ा सेट कर दिया। करने के बाद अभी ये जो पिवट टेबल है पहला वाला, उसके ऊपर राइट क्लिक करो। फिर उसमें आपको मिलेगा बॉटम से सेकंड ऑप्शन, पिवट टेबल ऑप्शंस। और यहाँ पे ऑटो फिट कॉलम विड्थ एंड अपडेट एक बाय डिफॉल्ट ऑप्शन ऑन मिलता है, इसको आपको डीएक्टिवेट करना है। एंड ये एक्सरसाइज आपको हमेशा एंड में करना है, पिवट टेबल का पूरा सब खत्म कर दे काम, और जब आप इसको भेजना है फाइल को किसी के पास, तब जाके ये करना है, ठीक है। नाउ क्लिक ओके। नाउ गो एंड रिपीट द सेम फॉर द बिलो पिवट टेबल आल्सो। Now, once you have done with this, now this is not going to change the format anymore. लेकिन मैंने आपको एक चीज कहा था, कभी भी आप डेटा प्रेजेंट करते हो, मेक श्योर योर डेटा स्पीक्स ए ब्यूटीफुल स्टोरी। तो अभी हमारा जो कस्टमर का डेटा, भले ही हमने टॉप 5 कस्टमर्स को बताया है यहाँ पे, लेकिन ये जो ग्रैंड टोटल कॉलम आप देखोगे, दिस इज नॉट शोइंग ए प्रॉपर व्यू। सो एक काम करो, कोई भी एक सेल ले लो ग्रैंड टोटल का, और वहां पे कर्सर रख के राइट क्लिक करो, and you will be getting a option called sort, and go for sort largest to smallest. Okay. Now, once this is done over here, keep your cursor anywhere in the pivot table, the first one, and go to analyze, pivot table analyze, or options जो भी हमने डिस्कस किया था, वहां पे एक ऑप्शन मिलता है pivot chart. So go and click pivot chart and click OK. So you'll be getting a beautiful chart ready. So a little bit resize this the way I'm doing, little bit resize this, and leave a space between the data and the chart and present it something like this. Once it is ready, बता दो।
It's ready.
Actually,
चलो, now do the same for pivot 2, which is below. Going to pivot analyze, then pivot chart, and click OK. Right, Snehal? The question जो आपने पूछा था, now you are getting that feel,
Yes, yes.
right? तो दो pivot table, दो pivot chart हमने बना दिए, एंड जैसे कि मैंने आपको कहा था, pivot chart बनते ही पहला काम क्या करना है, going to the design tab and take the last tile. and then click the plus symbol, remove the grid lines. वही चीजें रिपीट करो दूसरे चार्ट के लिए भी, डिजाइन, last tile and plus symbol, remove the grid lines.
Prabhaji, now I think we cannot change the filter, no?
कौन सा फिल्टर?
Now we have the top five.
हाँ,
So if I just try to change it to top 10 for the top table, then
नहीं
in
होगा
that case
क्योंकि
it is showing the error.
नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा क्योंकि वो स्पेस में हमने और एक पिवट बना दिया है। तो अगर
Mm-hmm.
आपको टेबल में ऊपर भी चेंज करना है देन यू शुड अवॉइड डूइंग दिस। टेबल ये फाइनल है, ये रिपोर्ट पूरा फाइनल है। इसके
Okay.
ऊपर और कोई फिल्टर फिल्टर चेंजेस नहीं करनी है।
Okay.
इसके ऊपर खाली ऑपरेट करना है, नो मोर फर्दर एडिशन ऑफ डेटा। ठीक है,
Yeah.
चलो। नाउ once you have got these things ready, keep your cursor in the first pivot table जो भी है, and then go for pivot table, analyze your options और design जो भी है। insert slicer, nothing new, 10 मिनट पहले ही काम किया था। एंड उसमें आपको चूज करना है, सपोज आपको रीजन वाइज डेटा देखनी है तो रीजन को स्लाइसर को ऑन करो, चेकबॉक्स को ऑन करो एंड क्लिक ओके। नाउ वंस यू डू दिस, ये स्लाइसर को लेके जो डेटा और चार्ट के बीच में जो हमने फासला रखा था उसके अंदर रख दो और थोड़ा बहुत उसका फॉर्मेटिंग कर दो जैसे मैं कर रहा हूं। ठीक है, और बाकी का ब्यूटिफिकेशन आपको पता है कहाँ से कैसे करना है, नथिंग न्यू, सो यू कैन वर्क आउट ऑन दैट। तो बता दो पहले स्लाइसर रेडी है तब मैं आगे बढ़ूंगा।
Yeah, it's ready.
Ready.
चलो, नाउ जस्ट 2 मिनट्स वॉच माई स्क्रीन। देखो मैंने ये सब बना दिया। बॉस ने मुझे पूछा कि प्रभास मुझे ये डेटा दिखाओ, ऑस्ट्रेलिया का कैसा स्टेटस है। मैंने क्लिक किया तो क्या हो रहा है, कौन सा टेबल कौन सा चार्ट इंपैक्ट हो रहा है?
The first one and the
What's the
figures are
first
also
one?
changing.
So if I go for Belgium, only first chart and first pivot table is getting an impact. तो ये जो नीचे वाला जो pivot table या pivot chart बना के रखा हुआ है, इसका क्या रोल है? So there is no point showing the static data like this. When the things more dynamic, then people would be more happy. है कि नहीं? तो चलिए अभी इसको कैसे करेंगे, एक काम करो। अपना जो हमने स्लाइसर बनाया हुआ है, रीजन जहां पे लिखा है वहां पे कर्सर रख के राइट क्लिक करो। आपको एक मिलेगा ऑप्शन जिसका नाम है रिपोर्ट कनेक्शंस। एंड व्हेन यू गो टू दैट रिपोर्ट कनेक्शंस, इट विल टेक यू टू ए डायलॉग बॉक्स जो आप देख सकते हैं अपने वर्कबुक में जितने भी हमने पिवट टेबल सब बनाए थे सबका लिस्ट यहाँ पे मौजूद है। तो टेक्निकली जो नीचे वाला पिवट टेबल का जो नंबर था उसका चेकबॉक्स यहाँ पे ऑन नहीं है। बस इतना ही काम करना है, उसको जाके एक्टिवेट करो। तो इस तरह से जितने भी पिवट टेबल आपने बनाए हैं एक ही स्लाइसर के साथ सबको भी आप कनेक्ट कर सकते हो। दैट इज व्हाट द ब्यूटी। एंड नाउ क्लिक ओके एंड सी द ब्यूटी। अगर आपको यूके का डेटा देखना है, यूके क्लिक करो तो टॉप 5 प्रोडक्ट्स ऑफ यूके ओनली 2019 में बिजनेस हुआ है। टॉप 5 कस्टमर्स ऑफ यूके उनका भी डेटा आ गया। अगर यूक्रेन का डेटा देखना है तो यूक्रेन का मिलेगा, कनाडा का देखना है तो कनाडा भी मिल गया, अर्जेंटीना का देखना है तो अर्जेंटीना मिलेगा। देखा, तो एक ही क्लिक में दोनों पिवोट टेबल भी चेंज हो रहे हैं और दोनों पिवोट चार्ट भी चेंज हो रहे हैं। So this is how more or less you can give a BI model kind of feeling by working with multiple pivot table, multiple charts, and this technique again going to help you while designing or creating such kind of dashboards. Make sense?
Yes.
So this is how people we have understood कि pivot table में काम करते हुए कैसे बढ़िया बढ़िया रिपोर्ट बना सकते हैं और जो लोगों को पसंद है वही चीजें ही कैसे दिखा सकते हैं। एंड बहुत सारा इंफॉर्मेशन एक ही रिपोर्ट, एक डैशबोर्ड बना के, वन पेज रिपोर्ट बना के, हाउ टू प्ले अराउंड विद डेटा, then how to connect multiple pivot tables with it called pivot charts and presenting our data with a beautiful story format, वो सब हमने सीखा। कोई डाउट है, क्वेरीज है, पूछ सकते हैं।
No,
होप इट वाज इंफॉर्मेटिव जो आज हमने सीखा।
बहुत
Yes.
ज्यादा।
यस, तो ये 16 घंटे का प्रोग्राम, अभी तो 4 घंटा बाकी भी है। अभी तक भी आपने जितना सीखा, ये डे 3 सबसे बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि बाकी कोई फॉर्मूला फंक्शंस आप गूगल से उठा लोगे, कहीं से सीख लोगे, कोई बता भी सकता है, बट ये सब चीजें जो मैंने आपको हर एक पिवोट के पीछे जो स्टोरी बना के कनेक्ट करके आपको सब बताया, वेरी हार्डली यू विल फाइंड दैट। ट्रस्ट मी, यू गो एंड चेक इन एनीवेयर इन द इंटरनेट वर्ल्ड, किसी का भी यूट्यूब चैनल देख लो, इस तरह से नहीं मिलेगा, इतना गारंटेड मैं दे सकता हूँ। सो समझ गए आप अभी? हाँ,
सर एक डैशबोर्ड में कितने पिवट टेबल बना सकते हैं, मतलब ऐसा कुछ लिमिटेशन वगैरह है
ऐसा
क्या
कुछ
इसमें?
नहीं, 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 देखो,
नहीं।
आपका स्क्रीन साइज जितना है उसके अंदर जितना फिट बैठता है आप बना सकते हो। मैंने आपको वो एचआर का डैशबोर्ड दिखाया, याद है? एचआर का एक
यस।
डैशबोर्ड दिखाया था,
यस।
कितने सारे चार्ट्स थे, करीबन 9 टू, सॉरी, अराउंड 11 12 चार्ट्स थे। एक ही विंडो के अंदर 12 चार्ट्स बना के मैंने बनाए थे। तो ये आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि आपका स्क्रीन साइज कितना है और आपका डेटा वॉल्यूम कितना है, आप कितने वेरिएबल्स रखते हो। सो इट इज कंप्लीटली अप टू यू।
ओके।
Yeah. All right. So kindly save all your workbooks. Okay. So this is it from our day 3. कोई सवाल है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं। डेफिनेटली आपका क्यूरियोसिटी बढ़ गया होगा, इंटरेस्ट भी बढ़ गया होगा कि नेक्स्ट टाइम बॉस को रिपोर्ट जो भेजेंगे इस तरह से कुछ बना के भेजेंगे। ऐसा मन में ख्याल आ रहा है?
यस।
होना भी चाहिए। So that makes your passion live. So keep implementing the same. If you have any queries or doubts, you can very well drop me in that WhatsApp group also. I would be trying to help you out as much as possible. एंड डे 4 का एजेंडा हमारा रहेगा, जितने सारे फॉर्मूला फंक्शंस हैं वो सब देखेंगे, इंक्लूडिंग एक्स लुकअप, जिनका ऑफिस 365 है, पैरेलली मेरे साथ काम करेंगे। और उसके साथ चार्ट्स एंड ग्राफ्स हम बाद में सीखेंगे उसके ऊपर। सो दैट विल बी टोटल आवर एजेंडा फॉर डे 4। But I would suggest again, don't lose the connectivity. Keep practicing before hopping in for day 4. ठीक है?
Tomorrow we'll be doing that concatenating also, na?
Tomorrow?
Uh-huh. Because
हाँ,
I can see
sorry.
one Excel given by you saying that how to concat in Excel.
नहीं, नहीं, हमारा कल का ही प्रोग्राम है डे 4 का। हाँ, तो
No,
कंकाटिनेट कौन सा देखना है आपको?
no, no, no. My question is, आपने जो हमारे साथ एक फोल्डर शेयर किया था उसमें एक एक्सेल शीट है which says as how to concat in Excel.
एक्सेल शीट कौन सा? इसमें?
Wait,
हाँ,
I'll
कौन सा
share
है?
my screen. I'll share
ओके,
my screen.
ठीक है, ठीक है।
Are you able to see?
या।
Talking about this, how to
हम्म
concat in Excel. This one.
हम्म
So you'll be taking this tomorrow. I'm asking that like in day 4 or
No, this is not required at all. ये तो हमने सब कवर कर दिया है ऑलरेडी। इन डे 1 में आपको सिखाया था मैंने कंबाइन कैसे करते हैं। डे 2 में हमने उसका फ्लैश फिल किया था, याद है? एम्परसेंड कमांड लगा के फर्स्ट नेम लास्ट नेम कंबाइन किया था।
ओके ओके
हाँ, तो कॉन्कैटिनेट फॉर्मूला जरूरत ही नहीं है, कॉन्कैटिनेट वाला फॉर्मूला जरूरत ही नहीं है। तो आप इसको इसको डायरेक्ट जाके फ्लैश फिल कर सकते हो, वही तो आपको मैंने सिखाया।
ओके ओके थैंक यू।
Sure. All right. So as usual, I'll be sending the recording links maximum by 9 p.m. tonight. Okay. So you go through that recordings. If at